Okay, we should be here. So, welcome everybody. My name is Zelda McGregor, she, her. I'm coming to you from Falmouth, Massachusetts, the Cape Cod location, obviously. And I hate icebreakers. So, my first grievance is the icebreakers are terrible. And I hate doing them. And John makes me do them all the time. And so, there won't be one tonight because I'm in charge.
I'm mixed on icebreakers, but there are some good ones. So
well, another grievance I have is that you're mixed on icebreakers.
Like, in my defense of good icebreakers, before I partially agree with you on icebreakers, is the fact that the very good one that I've used several times recently is that if somebody were to tell you that your reputation precedes you, what reputation is that? Which gets good answers and makes people actually think about that for a bit. I see Krista.
I'm still thinking. You asked me that like several weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about what the answer is. I don't know.
You
gave her trauma.
I still don't know either.
Well, I guess you need to make up a better answer.
I'm terrified of what the answer might be.
I can answer this one because it happened to me, and it was a candidate for state rep told me that welcome Angie, that they had been told about me ahead of time and that it was not nice. And he told me, and I was like, bro,
rude.
So it happened to me this year.
That is honestly pretty funny. That they're like, oh,
it was funny.
You. And you're like, oh, what have you heard? Well, it's nothing good, by the way.
Well, like, I forgot to start with this, but spoiler alert, everyone who already knows for sure. But like, there will be swearing tonight. If you have children, a grievance of yours might be that you were warned ahead of time and you forgot to get them out of the room. So that's hi Jordan. That's not my problem. I'm definitely going to say the F word tonight, and I just need everyone to hear that and know.
The F word. There will be lots of fun.
Festivus, fun and festivity, and that guy would no. Anyway, we're all just riffing and saying hello, but we have such an exciting group of people here to share our grievances with us. So I'm going to do what I know is a grievance of everybody's. And say, popcorn. It's a hateful thing to do to people. It's a hateful thing to do.
You're trying to get Jordan to actually drop off.
I feel like there's really a lot of processing that we're doing about how Jonathan runs meetings right now.
I refuse to use that.
Not just him.
I didn't realize it was like a whole subcategory of the best episode was going to be Jonathan running meetings.
I refuse to do popcorn particularly because during so many meetings, I'm actually just on my phone walking. As like yesterday, I felt bad being on a meeting where like the beginning was like the meeting guidelines, including like be fully present. And I felt like I love that for you, but I'm going grocery shopping during this meeting. But then like because if I'm on my phone and not actively paying attention to the screen, or if I'm multitasking with something else, I don't want to have to like call on somebody else. That prevents me from being able to actively do other things at the same time as the meeting.
Yeah, but that's not you running the meeting.
And I spend all my time trying to keep track of who's actually spoken and then pay no attention to what the answers are. I have no idea what anyone said. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
You should welcome this.
As everybody who knows me, if there's like the quickest way to get me to stop going to a meeting is to popcorn introductions. You're just basically telling me I don't know how organizing works, but I'm gonna offshoot any sort of facilitation to random people, and they're gonna spend 20 minutes with people going, "Who just went? I don't know. What are we doing?" And then we're 30 minutes into the meeting, and they're like, "Wow, we ran out of time because we spent 30 minutes trying to do popcorning."
For real.
Yeah. No, this is one of the things that inspired people to talk about icebreakers before this started, is that one of my grievances is the meetings. Although, like, as I noted, I'm mixed on the idea of icebreakers, but when there are meetings where icebreakers take up almost the entirety of the meeting, so that like everybody, all like 40 people on the meeting have to introduce themselves, and then suddenly you realize it's been a half hour of the hour-long meeting.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie. You wouldn't know anything about ineffective bodies of meetings and where they just do stupid shit, like waste each other's, and certainly my time. I feel like you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Well, I would just say many legislators still don't know how to properly use Zoom or Teams, including muting themselves. So that's the stage we're at.
Is reply all still a problem? Reply all is a problem at the State House.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Reply all emails.
Reply all.
People just replying all.
Reply all. No, it's
spamming each other.
We've advanced a bit. Yep.
Although I will say someday reply all is a great name for somebody's future memoir.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yep.
Jordan, I see that can be your memoir in the future.
I can't wait to write my memoir. I've already been on a one-man Valhalla to MA Poly and just trying to Viking burn my my connections. But that would be like really the best thing to write a tell-all book.
In terms of legislators not knowing how to mute themselves on meetings, it's not really that much of a problem because that assumes that they show up to the hearings and stuff in the first place.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that poor Jamie must be surprised to see this many people in a meeting. I'm not just talking to one or two people.
Jordan.
Yeah,
and everyone's happy. Even at grievance airing,
everybody's gripes tonight are just, hey, the State House. So here you are, shown up to listen to us complain.
Yep,
well, I not muting over taking your clothes off, thinking your camera is off. So
nightmare.
You heard that, huh?
Hi, Solidarity Lowell. They're in the chat, on the YouTube channel, everybody. So you should be able to see comments if you want. I forgot to tell you all that. We were having such a good time airing grievances before we started.
Oh, there we go.
That I was like, oh, when we go live in 12 seconds. No, Jamie, I have a grievance. Hi, Ryan and Amy, also Lowell.
Hold on, my cat.
I
need to do another cat real quick.
Hey, buddy.
One of my two cats. The other one probably won't show up.
Mine, Eugene. Oh, Eugene is airing it out, belly up. But hi, Megan Van Orden. My grievance is I didn't know that senators, when they're saying goodbye, get two speeches by someone who's not them like, I guess, just like circle jerk around instead of, I don't know, fixing the fact that it's illegal to be unhoused or any other insane thing that's going on in the Commonwealth. Two speeches.
Wait, they have. I didn't even realize. I did not watch it. They have two people like introducing themselves for their farewell speech.
Well, I mean, not so much. I mean, they're hopefully everybody knows who they are in the chamber, so it's just paying tribute to the retiring senator. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. There are definitely legislators that might be like the first time their colleagues.
That's so stupid though, because like there are not that many of you, and you all hang out. Allegedly, you're a full-time body, and you all hang out all the time in a room, pointed at each other, and you guys are like, no. Let me just have 2 out of 40 people who aren't me. So 2 out of 39 people. Has anyone ever been like, I want to do both of those speeches? I want all my time about me for me.
You're right. Like, I reserve the balance of my time. I'm going to do my 2 speeches.
Well, I will say the House speeches, which was many more legislators, was shorter farewell speeches than the 3 senator speeches. So, yep. So
how is that possible? I'm so upset.
You've met Senator Pacheco, yes?
I was about to say the same thing. As soon as you noted that, that gave me memory for I stayed up. This is like maybe not the best life choice, but during the Senate's police reform debate in 2020, when it was still like 1:30 a.m. and I was watching that video feed, I realized I'm going to watch this until it finishes. And I think it was about like 1:30 where there was like an hour-long speech from Mark Pacheco where I was not convinced that he knew he was awake.
Just an autopilot. Yep.
I thought he was sleepwalking through it. Like
it was a very like kind of monotone delivery of a slow rhythm of a speech at 1:30, like from like 1:30 a.m. to like 2:20 a.m. And it's like
that should be against the law
in that room, including
I saw that too, Jonathan. We make the same terrible life choices, and I just kept thinking to myself, like, what? Like, this would be a great like to go to sleep. Like, this is like
ASMR.
I just kept being impressed by how monotone it was at 1:30. I was just like, oh my god, like, how do you have this little energy but still awake?
Yep.
ASMR legislation would be hilarious.
I will use this as a reference to one grievance that I was recently submitted was like shout out to Sarah Neville Jimenez, school committee member in Chelsea, whose grievance was Roberta and Sarah's new baby Gloria not sleeping through the night. Maybe the video footage of Mark Pacheco's speech.
Really I was thinking that someone should do it, record it, and sell it. Like that, you could, there are people who are looking for that.
We are some people with that money.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Unemployed.
Jamie, you don't really need to like raise your like identity. I can't think of the right word, but like your profile. Like you're doing fine. But if you wanted to, you could totally do like an ASMR legislation channel, and it would just be like flipping through some pages to find like comment. What do you guys call those little pieces of paper you give out for no reason? Like welcome. Ooh, congratulations on having an Irish cable knit sweater at Christmas in Massachusetts. Like, and they'd be like, ooh, now I'm gonna sign it and get the pen out and be like, oh, we have a friend friend of mine all the way from New Zealand. Hi, Chaos.
Oh.
So if you have any New Zealand related grievances, please feel free to share them in the chat, Chaos. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to know other places are a mess.
My only grievance is that it's too far away, and I don't think I have the fortitude for that flight.
I've had to do it twice, and it was hard. I don't sit still. I'm surprised. I know you're all like, oh,
I'm shocked.
It was not a good time for me. But it's worth it to go to New Zealand, especially if you hate it here, which, like. Mm-hmm.
Although they have a right-wing government now too, don't they, in New Zealand?
Yeah, they recently had those interesting protests about Indigenous people, but I mean, we aren't gonna be able to wag a finger at that here today, unfortunately. We still have that same flag.
I was gonna say we haven't even fixed the flag.
An excellent grievance, the fact that the legislature had to vote to continue funding a commission to replace the flag and seal because they have yet to replace the flag and seal after multiple years of having passed legislation to replace the flag and seal.
Has the commission been appointed at this point? Or does Morgan need to appoint like a new committee or something?
I think they're just continuing the current one that like had like barely met, and then we're like, guess we like punting it to like, I guess somebody needs to make a decision about this.
I think we're asking the Office of Travel and Tourism to decide. Yep. So
yes.
Why? Who cares?
I mean, this is the funny thing. Like, people's relationships to the flag is the same with people's understanding of the 351 towns. No one knows. Like, no one knows what our flag is. You could go in Boston and say, which is our flag? And no one would be able to tell you. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, who's lobbying to keep the flag?
Yep.
Okay, hear me out. Replace the Massachusetts flag with a drunken Pats fan in front of a Dunkin' Donuts.
I would take it, honestly. I assume it would still be racist, but I would accept it over the flag that we have now, which like is because it's even like at least the Dunkin' Donuts is trash. You heard it here. Grievance. You people don't know what coffee is. You don't know what coffee is. But like,
why anyone goes there?
I don't care why you're going there. It's not right what you're doing. But like, but the pink and orange is aesthetically pleasing, at least that would be pretty, as opposed to the most boring flag I've ever seen. We're Massachusetts. We should have a bitchin' flag, and we don't. Grievance. And it's racist.
I wouldn't call our flag boring. You got a sword on.
Yeah,
sword
I was just say, yeah.
It
could be boring. I would love for our flag to be boring.
Right. Like, to use the slang of the kids, one might call the Massachusetts state flag mid.
Mid.
I do like the idea of like just of stripes, but just Dunkin' Donuts colors. I actually think that's the winning idea.
Well, Maine just reflected their redrawn one, right? Can we like outflank them and grab the pine tree? I mean, they were ours anyway, right? Can't we just take their redrafted flag?
Yeah.
I liked their redrafted
while we're at it.
And LLB is already selling stuff with it, so we could buy stuff too.
Can we just like usurp Maine's flag that like they used to be part of Massachusetts, so we have every right to take their flag.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Done.
I agree.
So ordered. We need a
gavel.
Can you make that happen? Massachusetts actually adopting good ideas from other states instead of doing nothing.
I like this idea. I've also long believed that we should take Maine back and trade it for DC. Like DC should get statehood, and we should just get Maine back.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would like to exile Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Just
common. I'm not sure that's a complaint. I think that's a
it's not.
Among Massachusetts.
I think that's just something we all agree on.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm including that in the suggestion. I don't think anyone minds.
It's like confessing an unpopular opinion, except for it's actually a widely held opinion.
Well, when you say like, do you want to make them form their own separate country, or do you just want to like divvy up the pieces of
I don't care what happens. I don't want to. I don't think they like the Yankees. They shouldn't be part of New England. I don't care what happens in Connecticut. And obviously they don't either, because they don't even have enough respect for themselves to not be Yankees fans. Like at least support the Mets, you losers. I mean, come on, Connecticut. What are you doing? New York doesn't want you. She's not that into you, okay? I don't know. I don't know what their problem is. Have you ever spent time there? It's weird. And I know Amy, native Connecticut. Do you guys say Connecticutian?
All in the comments.
That sounds like a crab.
They say nutmegger.
The Connecticut. Like, how do you?
Is it Connecticution?
Amy, are you coming on to tell us your grievance? Because if yes, you can tell us then.
I mean,
I can send you the link.
We're in a situation where are we not Massachusettsians?
Bay Staters.
See?
Okay, but they nutmeggers then, right?
I think, but if I remember, it's actually even by state law or something, right? They
didn't pass that, but not everything else.
State communities know.
We have a chocolate chip cookie, and we have.
Yeah, it's massholes. Thank you,
I remember complaining that like the dinosaur bill as an education for children was bad education, because what needed to happen is the House needed their preferred dinosaur, the Senate needed their preferred dinosaur. It needed to be held because of fights happening between other unrelated bills.
Yep.
And on the last day of the session, that like it would die on the last day of the session.
That's true.
I love this idea. Only the House wouldn't have a dinosaur; they would have like an alligator, and they'd be arguing with us. It actually is a dinosaur, and the Senate's wrong.
Yeah,
and they need to adopt this alligator as the official dinosaur. If it's going to be really informative about our current situation.
Yeah,
and any state rep who disagreed and like called out that this is not a dinosaur would have their funding cut. They will lose their earmarks.
They'd lose all their earmarks. They'd never get in leadership.
Their desk would be in the hallway.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a tough crowd, as expected.
Jamie's like, I didn't come here for
we
this.
Actually hear what Jamie's grievances are? Because I would
love to.
I feel like we're gonna get
I was thinking of some grievances. I would say first, I need to hear more often from John Cohn. I need to hear from you, not every day, but maybe every hour. How can we do that? And I think you need to be quoted in more media publications criticizing the legislature. And then for Zelda, I would like you to give me less notice when I'm supposed to be attending a progressive mass event.
No, grievance response. Grievance response. I texted you to say I don't know if you're busy on Friday, so earlier this week, Your Honor. If you would like to join us, and you were like, I'm down, and I said okay, and then I texted you earlier, and I said I will be sending you the link. I can't create the link until we're not going to talk about the technology, but Dan can tell you tonight. This was not a Zelda fault. Usually it is, though. I will allow it.
Oh, we all got it like 10 minutes ago or whatever.
Okay.
You got it.
I thought it was
maybe a half hour.
Last minute thought.
Yeah.
No, it's because the link just doesn't exist, and it's the whole thing. Like, to quote the great poet and philosopher Katie Heron, the limit does not exist, but in this case, the limit is a link.
Wait, okay, that actually reminds me of a very niche.
No,
Shocking that Mean Girls made John think of something.
Well, no, this is actually a complaint that I made recently about the Mean Girls, like the musical, the movie, of like a very specific thing that there was no way. Are folks familiar with like the phone scene in the original movie?
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that you make a movie in the 2020s and do not replace that with group texts. You would have Katie Heron starting a group text that eliminates Regina George and it's just Heron.
Absolutely.
And then Regina would learn about this group text, and that would be a source of controversy. The fact that is not done shows that it was just weak writing.
That's actually going to be in my tell-all about the legislature, in which I had to mitigate legislators literally taking each other off group text and having to have a social work message.
Stop.
Social work moment with them about that. So just to say that's also how our legislature works.
Yep. Exactly. Why it should have been in the movie.
That's not Tina Fey's fault, Solidarity Lowell. I agree with you, Marissa, but like, we're not going to blame. I don't think he's blaspheming Tina.
No, I can blame other people, other lesser writers on it.
Yeah, it is a problem in the musical as well. So
I won't blaspheme Tina. I recently rewatched 30 Rock, which I really loved. And it turns out that the show is like hella racist, and she's hella problematic, and it's hella lazy, and like I think like in the retrospect I was like, wow, this does not hold up, and like this is really problematic. So
it is fascinating to watch any range of shows in the future, or even like things that don't become problematic, and when you look back on them, but they're just like the plot lines would fall apart if updated. I remember somebody once noting about how like 90% of all Seinfeld plot lines would be destroyed by the presence of cell phones.
Oh, sure.
We're getting into like Ariel knew how to read because we saw her sign her name. So why didn't she just write a note to Prince Eric territory? And I want you to know that I support it. But Jordan, I got these down from the old physical media shelf. That's for you, Jamie. For a reason, because I think we all know about one little show about Beacon Hill that is definitely problematic and also flawless. And it's Beacon Hill seasons 1 and 2.
Oh my God! I mean, recently, if you're like, Jordan, what do you do to decompress from doing homework? It has been to watch the entire series of Beacon Hill,
which takes about 18 minutes. But
it's untrue. They're very long and they're very fantastic. And it's fantastic. It also has like they've borrowed half the cast of General Hospital. Who are no longer on General Hospital, which I also very much appreciate.
Yo, I still haven't watched it. I gotta add that to my list for this Christmas break.
We just need to have a watch party.
Yeah,
yes, let's do
we've been talking about it. It's about time.
It's time.
Yes,
it's time.
It's time. One of my grievances can be, I noted before that a wonderful fundraiser idea would be Zelda and Jordan giving commentary on Beacon Hill this series.
Yes, Megan. Megan is with us. Yes, Megan. And yes, Jordan and I will. I think I can speak for you, Jordan. We'll happily provide commentary for.
Oh my God!
Yes,
I would love it.
Good. Jamie, another grievance that I would understand if you had is that I should stop telling you about ice cream places that I've heard about. But I realized that I did a grievance rebuttal and I did not let you finish any other grievances you might have.
Thank you. I truly have like cut down on going to ice cream places, but like everyone continues to ask me about ice cream. Yep. Yep, including you.
Yeah. I don't as much ask as I'm like, my friend told me that this is his favorite ice cream place, and I don't care. I don't like ice cream, so I want someone else to know. What?
And it's actually a place in New Zealand. You just send it anyway.
This was a Cape Cod location, which I know that you all think is the super ends of the earth, but is in fact about 40 minutes from where you're sitting.
Well, not where I'm sitting, but
yeah,
no, John.
Is it like 40 minutes? 40 minutes, maybe, as the crow flies.
I don't know. It doesn't take that long to get to Boston from here. It's not that like it takes me longer to get to P-Town.
It's probably 40 minutes from where I am, but I don't know about anybody else because I'm on the southern end of Boston. So like, yeah, that would work.
Yeah, all right. Krista gets it.
You can't even get from one side of Boston to the next in 40 minutes.
It's
like,
John.
Yeah. So like, as somebody who has not driven a car in like over a decade, there always have experiences when actually like having to be driven by somebody to an event, and like it was wild. Like last year, that when it took like a half hour just to get from West Roxbury outside of Boston.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Wisteria. Oh, nice. That's a nice name. Wisteria. I just saw the Wisteria Theater. That's beautiful.
Wisteria, yeah.
Wisteria. Now, speaking of Worcester, Tracy, I know you submitted a grievance. Would you like to discuss it?
I was going to say, but it wasn't about Worcester, I don't think, was it?
No, but you're from Worcester, and it was a good segue.
Worcester's actually very well represented on this, by the way. It was unusually so.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of us tonight.
A grievential segue.
So what? I think I submitted two. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah. So I mean, I feel like I would not be true to form if I didn't actually grieve about the fact. I don't know that I could actually make this funny about the fact that the inflation rate was completely ignored in terms of the education like funding for last year, and it was like it felt like one of those where we all kept pointing out this very obvious fact, and everyone was like, yeah, and then nobody did anything, and it was sort of like. And then everyone was like, well, how come we keep having all these overrides? I don't know, because all of the cost centers went up by more than 1.35%? Like, I don't know.
It reminds me, Tracy, of my favorite scene from Austin Powers, where they're driving slowly through this tunnel, and the guy's standing there, and they're like, move out of the way. And he's like, they're like slowly going towards him. They're like, you gotta move, and he's just like slowly, it's like really, we're coming.
Scene.
It's like going 2 miles per hour.
It's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen.
He's like, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Did you guys ever get an official explanation about why we didn't fix that?
God, no.
Wait, do you expect the legislature to explain why they're not doing things, Jamie? Where do you work?
So I did hear that it's far too hard to explain, and it's so much easier just to do minimum per pupil aid, which of course is not only completely unprogressive and keeps giving
very little
a whole bunch of towns that like don't actually need it extra money. I went to a district, which I will remain nameless, by the way, which funds their schools at like 200%, and they got $1 million in hold harmless aid, and I'm like, all right, and I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. But
hey, don't pick on my communities, Tracy. Just kidding.
It wasn't. It was just south of you.
I would say, in fairness to the Massachusetts legislature, I did hear Trump was going to fix it.
Wow.
Wait.
And then they complain about things like, well, we can't fund full day kindergarten. And I like look at their budget and I think, I don't really understand why you can't fund full day kindergarten. And then they want to know if I want to evaluate their budget for how they're spending money. And I say no.
I feel like the kind of the inflation point, Tracy, is like a great kind of a broader grievance of when the legislature passes things and like forgets about actually following through with implementing what they passed or like keeping.
Well, right, we keep hearing, oh, but we did Student Opportunity Act. Oh, but we did Student Opportunity Act. And I was like, yes, but you're actually undercutting all of the Student Opportunity Act by not doing the inflation rate. So that's why, Worcester has $22 million that they had a budget gap last year. That's because there wasn't an inflation rate. Like those are not, Yes.
Also, I would also add as a grievance Prop 2.5. I've described Massachusetts in the past as like haunted by the ghosts of ballot questions past.
Oh, ain't
And I
that
feel
the
like,
truth.
right? Like, he's got like a nice,
I was just going to say Prop 2.5 is my grievance.
Yeah.
Because Grafton's been dealing with the inflation rate being higher than our Prop 2.5 increases for 10 years. We are looking at our third override next year to fund the schools because our state aid drops as a percentage of our budget every single year. And the average Grafton resident can afford it, but not every Grafton resident can afford it. And I feel like that's the thing that people don't get. We're not socioeconomically monolithic yet, but we will be if this continues, because anyone who can't afford it will be pushed out. Or if the override fails, people who can afford to live in a community that funds the schools will move there. So we need to fund education more progressively, not on property tax. That's my grievance.
Yeah. Get on the
grievance.
2.5% is arbitrary. It should, if anything, if there's any limit, it should be prop CPI. It should be the consumer price index, not 2.5%. That's dumb.
Well, the thing is the school funding formula doesn't actually use Prop 2.5 either. It uses the municipal revenue growth rate, which is higher than Prop 2.5. That's the thing that nobody seems to understand. Sorry, we just got super technical, super fast. And no longer funny.
I knew what it was doing.
I was told there weren't going to be any facts in the Festivus tonight. So.
It's terrible. This is literally, you must be so fun at parties, right? Like, this is exactly what this is.
Too many numbers.
Exactly.
That's funny.
I'm typing Jamie's quote so we don't forget it. I was told there wouldn't be any facts in the Festivus tonight. Commemorative tote bag. By the way, if you haven't donated to Progressive Mass, not to be that guy, but I'm gonna throw a link in the chat. Feat of strength, and for me right now, a feat of strength is not being mean. I'm going to say something nice, and it's shout out to our amazing friend, Senator Jamie Eldridge, for being the only one of us, as far as I remember or noticed, who in sharing this event also said, you should donate to Progressive Mass, including me. Thank you for that, Jamie. Shout out to Jamie.
Thank you. Shame on Zelda.
Shame on Zelda and John, who works there.
Yep.
Well, none of us on the board remembered either. I mean, it was.
Yeah. It's all good.
I will add a complaint directed towards my colleagues in the legislature. I really would like at least one of my colleagues to say, gee, Progressive Mass does great work, huh?
We're never like, so shout out to John for the scorecard.
It does always warm my heart when I hear about a legislator being really worked up about having a B on the scorecard.
It warms my heart too.
On a cold wintry night like today.
I've had people say it quietly to me. They've said it in private to me.
Good.
They appreciate that. That they appreciate the scorecard, and they and somebody said they brought it to the floor once to like basically to like get a sense of like who they should sit next to their first.
Oh wow!
Stop.
We're like they look at this. They like I brought it so that I could advocate for who I wanted to sit next to.
Oh my God.
And I really appreciate it as a tool of high school. To be like, oh, I don't know. You gotta see. Forget it. I'm out. I have a grievance. Speaking of Worcester, so I have had nothing but terrible run-ins with the Worcester police force. I have loads of stories, including one time, one of them using the N-word on my front porch after I complained about being harassed while walking my dog in my neighborhood, and the fact that like you can't really speak out because you know that also then will come with some other form of unwanted things. And then our city council is supposed to oversee them, who I will say, even if you were like the most pro cop person, like two lawsuits that have cost the city a lot of money are one, the police suing the police for the problems, and then the other time our police sued the police for harassment. This has happened more than so discrimination and harassment. So even if you only care about the police, Worcester is paying for lawsuits for police against other police officers. Like that alone should be like, boy, maybe we should look into that. Yeah, maybe we should like do some oversight at some point. Instead, they're like, this place is amazing. Our police force is the best in the world. We don't know why the DOJ has been here all this time, and we didn't read the report, but we know it's wrong. It's just like, it's just so, yeah, like shout out to like not even doing the bare minimum of fiscal oversight and our police force acting like a gang unit that I'm like deeply worried about ever talking about it because I know harassment will come at the end of it. Like I get better treatment from literal gang members in my neighborhood than the Worcester police force. At least they leave me alone when I'm complaining.
Put that on a t-shirt.
And like still no oversight. Like how many more lawsuits do they have to lose? The city have to lose before they go, maybe we should rein this in a little bit. We can close that gap.
They're still trying to figure out how they can arrest homeless people too. So like, going to the Supreme Court on panhandling didn't stop them either. So
we have
shout out to our law department where we finally got rid of our lawyer who also cost us $1 gazillion suing the EPA unsuccessfully, then $1 gazillion suing the EPA a second time and failing. I can't tell you how many lawsuits the city of Worcester lost when I was on the Conservation Commission against individual people who they tried to enforce things against. And then on top of that, the homelessness. Like, shout out to our law department. They do a bang-up job saving us money.
I just
Who's like, let's sue the environment. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I just don't understand how housing homeless people in jails and prisons could be more cost effective than housing them in homes. Like
they'll just go away, don't you know? This is magic.
On the subject of imprisonment, I have a grievance that I know John shares because I've made many arts out of his language for it for the organization. And I know that a senator who's here can speak to it as well as many of us, but that more legislators don't use their privilege and right and authority to drop in on any facility to see. I'm not gonna say see if it's okay, but to look at how shitty it is and how inhumane, torturous, cruel, and frankly just an egregious way to deal with any person. I don't care what they did. That more of them don't do that is I'll say egregious again. I guess it's a good word, but like word. That's some bullshit, and I'm angry about it.
SAT level
grievance
there.
It's that fancy education, John, coming in. But so, Jamie, thank you for doing that. But like, I'm sure you could list off a series of grievances about what you've seen there. But more of your colleagues should be less cowardly. Cowardly, you heard me, guys.
Yeah, well, many colleagues. I mean, I credit you guys, for having that on the list because it's definitely increased some of the, some to visit. So it has had an impact, really.
Well, shame and fear are very powerful motivators, and that's what Progressive Mass is here to do.
Shout out to speaking of which, rest in peace, Gloria Fox, who upon going with Kara and her then co-director to a prison, was meeting a prisoner who has since been released and paid money for wrongful imprisonment. The Boston Herald and Channel 7 wrote a report saying that that GlowFlow allowed Kara and her co-director to have sex with the inmate, and because of that, everybody got sued, and that is the beginning of Ella's college fund. And so shout out to Gloria Fox for going in and getting on the front page of the Boston Herald and subsequently being the feeder money for Kella to go to college.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of my favorite stories. We were on the local news and everything, and I just never remember. And I was like, we should sue them. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, because this is like easy money. And everyone was like, are you sure? And then like shout out to thousands of dollars that they had to pay us in the end. For that terrible reporting. But Gloria Fox just showed up to prison.
The cost of college is really high, and we should all we're gonna have to get creative. For
realsies.
Like
anyone
and more. more of a shout out and less of a grievance. But speaking of Ella, over the summer, she brutalized me over voice chat while we were playing video games with Jordan. We were playing Splatoon 3, and she was like, Zelda, your character doesn't have to do that dance, and apparently it's a stupid dance. And I was like, I chose it. She was trying to help me, and I was like, this is a choice that I made. And she goes, "Ow," and I was like,
Yeah. Oh man, they're vicious. They're vicious at this age.
It was her birthday though, so like it's okay. But I was like, oh my god, I was not prepared for her coming at me like that. Like, kids are terrifying, and I love them. I love it. But yeah, I was not ready for that. I was not ready. Griffin knows what it was. It was the vertical worm, Griffin. And you do this little like vertical worm, and it does look stupid, but that's why I'm doing it, guys. We already know what I'm like.
What is the point of doing a vertical worm if like the point of worms is that they're not standing?
Okay, mister. Like, look at Tracy. Tracy's like, I agreed to do this. I have a limited amount of free time, and I said, yes.
No, I was thinking you're not supposed to ask that question. That is not an okay question to ask.
It's just a cute little victory dance, John. If you don't understand joy, I can't help you. Like, I don't know how to support you in this travesty of your life that you're living. Like,
given the list of things that John doesn't consume, I do wonder occasionally.
Peanut butter
for joy.
Peanut butter. He's not allergic to peanuts, everyone.
Peanut butter
he just doesn't like peanut butter or pasta.
More like caffeinated beverages, but
Modestly caffeinated. I just don't do coffee.
I don't.
But you don't drink black tea either. You're like only green
like
tea.
It's green tea or nothing.
It's not tea. It's like people who like white chocolate, and I'm like, that's not chocolate.
Look, if you guys don't understand the joy there is in lentils, then John just doesn't know what else to tell you.
Thank you, Dad. I appreciate it.
I had lentils a couple days ago. They're delicious. Yes, that kitty is so cute. Hi, Harry.
Yeah.
Eugene is hold on. We can do a quick journey to Eugene. She's
my
over
other
here.
cat. This is
oh my gosh.
Oh, what a handsome kitty. Yeah, Eugene's gonna
looking at those cats.
Eugene's gonna fight me if I go get her. She'll hurt me.
This reminds me of an idea that sorry, Tracy, were you about to say something? You're muted.
Oh, Tracy, Harry muted you.
That's because Harry did mute me, yes.
This is the
silencing women.
When animals actually just mute you.
This cat lets you hold her like a baby, like a newborn baby. She'll just stay like this indefinitely.
I realized the other day that if I pitched the idea to Zelda of like a progressive mass fundraiser of a cat calendar with like this cat supports Medicare for all, or like this cat thinks that legislators should take more recorded votes.
Well, I have cats as well. They were in the JP cat calendar last year, so they're experienced at this. I'd be willing to offer up.
Of course, there's a JP cat calendar.
Yeah. There being a JP cat calendar is one of the most JP things that I've ever heard.
Yeah, it really is. That's just wild.
Well, there's the JP Cat Facebook group, and then things just grew from there.
Hey, why not?
Yeah. I see that Rachel from Franklin, you feel like you're just hanging out in a friend group. It's just a broadcast of people airing grievances and reading along with the chat. If you would like to join and air your own grievance, feel free to say so, or email me, text me, however you get a hold of me, and I can get you that link and you can join us for a bit. It's no big deal. This is just what we do every year at Festivus. We're just talking it out because I think we all need something like this.
One thing I would like to add that I feel like is probably relatable to many people here, that when I was brainstorming grievances before, one of them is the large volume of bad phone numbers that exist in the voter file. That I just simply don't know. If you're phone banking and it's like, I just simply don't know how Vote Builder, Van, whatever version of it, can populate that many, just like genuinely wrong numbers. Like when you call somebody and you're like, I would be like, hi, can I speak to Zelda? And the person on the other line says, there has never been somebody here with that name. I'm like, I assume you're not lying.
I mean, that's what happens. I guess grievance. That's what happens when private equity takes over the democratic infrastructure for the country, and no one seems to be alarmed by that. And like, what does private equity do? It makes things shittier and takes the money. Like, it's still costing every campaign and every state and every nonprofit a gazillion dollars for cell phones. But I'm going to guess that they're not uploading any information anymore, and they're just pocketing the money into the black box that is unregulated private equity.
Yeah,
because we don't know because it's not regulated.
Private equity is corporate vampires.
They own the entirety of democratic infrastructure in this country, and that should be alarming to people. But it's just not enough alarm.
And I hate when you call one voter and there's like 7 numbers for that one voter, and none of those numbers work. Like, what the F?
None of them.
Yes, you think you're doing so good because you're like, I'm going to try all of them. Yeah.
Yes.
I felt like I had more people who were deceased this year than in any other election of recent note, and that includes like, I understand that COVID is happening. I get
there's
it.
reasons for that, Zelda.
No, but it's 20. I understand that, but it's also 4 years now of COVID happening throughout many election cycles, including municipal, which for me are in the spring.
Right.
So like 2 separate cycles of canvassing or phone calling, and I've had more people. Now I also know where I live and that age-wise. But like, I swear to God, we were doing that one recently, John, and I was not the most recent one that we did. I was calling my local area, so I was older, typically older population. But like when I was calling into like Boston at one point, I was really sad. And at some point I'm like, are these people trolling me? Like, did they all band together in this neighborhood and say,
let's
just
all
tell them you
dead.
died? Just tell, not just Zelda, but like if they call about question 1, just be like, I'm dead. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. But like, we haven't. Go ahead.
This is an old grievance that I remembered the other day when I was talking to somebody. For anybody who had done phone banking in 2020, when there were all of those like fake, like when you were talking, it would be somebody like faking this whole long script to try to drag you into a conversation with them, but it was just like an automated thing from some like patch for unknown numbers.
I don't think I encountered
I don't know about this.
You basically get a number and they'll be like, okay, just give me a sec. I'm in a restaurant right now.
Yes.
Yes.
I got so many of those.
Yes, all the rage in 2020. And then you would have
like fake numbers.
What was that?
They were fake numbers?
No, it was basically like a patch. Like, was it kind of a? I don't know what the correct term would be. That's something that somebody would download to their phone, so if they don't recognize the number, it's going to trap the number into this like endless loop of trying to like, where they're just like a perpetual drawn out conversation with somebody that sounds like a real person, but has built-in pauses for what they think is going to be that person's pause time, and you can trip it up by if you suddenly stop responding and they start having a conversation with only themselves.
It's kind of like, remember when people used to record on the voicemail? They'd be like, hey,
exactly.
And they'd be like, wait, the music is too loud. Let me pause it. And then they would pause the music and be like, kidding. It was kind of like that.
I love this.
It was like I have like 20 minutes of it.
Yes.
I wish I had done this, because I tell you, I have to admit that I have a fake Republican account that I used to use to monitor Republican activity, and I would get phone calls for it, and I would endlessly try to draw them out to just waste their time. But I had to do that in person. Like, I actually had to be on the phone with some person to pretend that maybe I could get talked into voting for Trump if they just spent another 10 minutes with me.
I love that.
You talk a little bit louder. Sorry, I still can't.
But who knew I could download something to just do it for me? That sounds fantastic.
That's the kind of cozy, chaotic energy we need.
Go ahead, Dan. I got one of those in 2020. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, this is a funny prank. Thank you.
You're like, respect.
Yeah.
It's like
I lost 5 minutes of my life. Respect.
I get a lot of we own a 3-decker in a quickly gentrifying neighborhood in Worcester, and I get a lot of requests to buy my house, and I always whenever I get the text, I always send back silly bird facts, and most of the time they get really upset and they're just like unsubscribe because I'm like, you've been subscribed to bird facts, and I get like panicked unsubscribes. But somebody sent me back some really interesting bird facts, and I was like, you know what, guys, that's my house. I'm very impressed with this response.
I need to start doing that because I hate those texts and those mailers that they send you at home.
Yeah. I always whenever I get the mailer and it has a number on it, I submit the number to like one of their competitors as somebody who might be interested in buying their house.
You spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah,
I spend way too much time on this.
Jordan is a PhD student. He needs a hobby, and this is a safe one.
I haven't let it slip since I've been a PhD student. This is what I did when I was on boring Zoom calls before.
Oh, okay.
John, I have an idea for a Progressive Mass annual meeting breakout session that Jordan can run on all of these ideas that he has.
Republicans' time.
How to waste people's time. Oh, yeah.
I'm wasting the opposition.
Yeah.
Wait.
Like always invite them into the house. Whenever you have a Republican knock on your door, invite them into your house. Come into would you like to talk? I'd love to have you come in.
If you do this breakout session, you have to start it with, and I know it'll hurt you inside, but it'll be funny, Jordan. You have to start it with an insane and just absolutely, utterly, flawlessly time-wasting icebreaker that is done via popcorn.
Yes.
It has to be via popcorn.
Intro.
A breakout session called "How to Waste Your Opponent's Time," and the entire breakout session is just introductions.
It's like Inception for time wasting. I was built for this, Jordan. I'm here to help you if you need it. My icebreaker tonight is: what is your favorite adaptation of any Jane Austen work? And while you do that, I'd also like to know what you thought about the costume. Yeah. I know everyone here has an answer to that, Jordan. This is this group.
The problem is you want us to pick one.
How do you narrow it down? That's unfortunately the answer. Really Jamie, I know you have a grievance about physical media. Come on.
About
Netflix. Your DVDs going out.
Oh, right, I know.
You're my DVD bestie. He's the only person I know who still collects DVDs.
Yep. Now I have to go to the libraries. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's great. We love libraries at Progressive Mass.
Store, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You look very prescient now as everything slowly disappears from streaming.
That's right.
Is it really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things. Sorry. Go ahead, Krista.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, it's, if it doesn't make enough money or they need to offload like things that you think you were gonna have access to forever just sort of slip away, and you're like, oh shit, I don't actually have that on a disc.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Criterion Collection, some online payment or streaming site. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like independent movies. Yeah.
Mm.
They definitely have disappeared a lot of versions of things that like we have physical copies of, and people are like, oh, do you have that physical copy? Like, sadly, we do. But yes, no, they've disappeared a lot. I mean, Disney started this years ago.
Oh, the Disney Vault.
Yeah. They were pulling this shit with us with the VHSs and the puffy cases.
Yeah, totally.
Remember that? If you missed your opportunity to buy more. If you missed your opportunity to buy Aladdin, you had to be friends with that weirdo down the street because otherwise,
the next 5 years, your favorite movie is hanging out with Song of the South.
Or God forbid, Peter Pan.
I just learned from my son the other day. He's 15 and he apparently still collects DVDs. I was so shocked. He said he watches
this
it on his
heartwarming.
Yeah, he watches it on his PS5. He said it still has a DVD thing. I was like, what? He got like
these are bringing back all the analog things, like cigarettes are back. Amazing.
We brought back vinyl. I mean, millennials brought back vinyl, so like You know,
millennials
the
are here for
Alpha is
you.
gonna bring back DVDs. They also like cassettes. This like a bunch of the college students were like, I got a cassette, like all excited. And I was just like, what? I was like, why is this a thing?
No.
You know, like they also, they're also into like 90s bands, so that's also been hilarious.
They're right about
somebody
that.
who saw them all.
That's because they finally have good opinions if they start liking 90s music.
Yeah, congrats. Well, that's Alpha, not Gen Z. And Jake, if you're still listening, and I know you were here because you texted me to complain about my Dunkin' Donuts behavior, but like, Jake, if you're still here, you need to do something about your generation, the Z's. I don't know what you're up to, but you need to stop. Not Jake, he's fine, but the rest of you.
Kids these days.
Yeah, you heard me. I said it. I'll be 42 in a couple weeks, and I feel about 80. I'm 42 going on 85, you guys.
It's what happens when you live on the Cape. It's like osmosis.
No, wait. Jamie can attest to this because he knows. Jamie knows pretty much all my friends who aren't here, and like they're all boomers.
Yep. Oh yes.
They're all former legislators who are boomers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that town committee. We can't. I have some grievances, but all right here, all 12 Years of Murder, She Wrote on DVD. It was my best purchase this year. I don't mind saying it, and I felt inspired by James Eldridge. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving me the permission in my heart to make that purchase.
As though you
One more
needed
thing about the Dunkin' Donuts piece, I can't stand people who get iced coffee. Like, not only it's such a disrespect to coffee. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like,
okay, wait.
Delita's coming hot.
What if it's cold brew and you also do like hot coffee? Because I like both. Like I have my French press for my hot coffee, but I do like a cold brew.
But you don't get it from Dunkin' Donuts, right?
No, I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Exactly.
Like you'll never catch me at a Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm talking about those people that go faithfully to Dunkin' Donuts to get that fake.
And then you guys do the double cupping, and I don't understand. Why are you using a styrofoam around a plastic cup? Do you just like actually hope the earth explodes? Are you like, this slow, torturous capitalism like rant into hell isn't enough for me? I gotta speed it up.
Honestly, that would be understandable if that were the evidence, right? Like that at least you could get.
That'd be great. That'd be like Republican marketing of like add extra packaging just because.
And then the plastic straw, and I'm not coming at plastic straws. I understand that there are important physical needs for many people with plastic straws. I'm not doing that. But like the straws, they sometimes get the two, and I think that might be a new thing, but I was creeped out, and it was Gen Z. And I just don't understand it.
I
like,
love
what
it
is
so
happening?
Find a way of just
overcomplicating.
Yeah. Griffin says, fun fact, Griffin, Cars in 2006 was the first Disney movie to be released on Blu-ray and also the final to be released on VHS. I did not know that, but we like to do trivia here, so.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, 2 straws because you can't suck the disgusting fake coffee poison into your body fast enough, Amy. Yeah. So, anyway, Jamie, I know that overcompensating.
So noted. Yep.
For what? No, we're not calling you out, Jamie. I was gonna say, I know that your time is limited. We're happy to have you as long as you'll stay. But if you have further grievances that you would like to share, especially if it's about your workplace, where I don't know if you know this about us.
we know I can't talk about those. So.
I know.
Yep.
But we could talk about those scheduled MBTA rides that certain people do to talk about how great MBTA is. Certain
by certain legislators who I haven't seen that. I've seen the profile on Phil Eng, who does seem to be doing a good job, but I don't know.
Train Daddy Eng. I was like, they printed that in the Globe.
Yep.
I will. Oh, talk about grievance. Grievance, this like hero worship of individual people, and rather just more money for the damn thing, and now it's running better. And they're like, it's this magic human being, and I was like, or it could just be money. You just put money into it. It's not, he's not magic. He doesn't like they just like do this thing. They're like, oh, this person failed. This person, no. They had money. Get money. That's why I got better. It's not magic. It's not him. He's not magic. Drives me crazy.
That we know about. Have you actually?
I refuse to believe that he's a magic Negro. You just cannot convince me he is a magic Negro. You can't just put people of color in things and just be like, oh, they work better. No. It's just money. He has more money for it. Shout out to all the people who put in the work to have more money in the legislature despite his best efforts.
That's right. Thank you, Mass Fair Share. Yep.
If only the legislature didn't vote to give away massive tax cuts to weaken the gains of money being put in.
And if they only actually budgeted all of the fair share funding.
Yep.
So I have another budgetary grievance.
Yes.
I finally actually took the extra step of actually putting onto my PowerPoint that I use to train new school committee members now, which is that, and it came up again today because Congress, of course, can't actually pass a budget. Like not at all. Never mind on time. The state legislature has not passed a budget on time since 2010. Which by this point has become a story, like a line that now gets a bigger and bigger laugh every time I say it.
Oh my God.
Every single school committee and every single municipality in Massachusetts has to pass a budget by June 30th. And somehow magically they managed to make it happen, mostly with volunteers who actually are doing this in their free time. And yeah, we can't get the legislature to do it. I just wanted to say that.
With the public records and open meeting laws. Yep.
Exactly. Posted meetings, the whole 9 yards. Yep. So now we're making that part of what every new school committee member knows is not only that they have to do it by this deadline, but the legislature is also supposed to do it by the deadline. And they haven't done it in 14 years and counting.
Well, on that note, guys, I think I'm going to head out.
We know it's not your fault.
But thank you for having me on, and great to see you all. And I hope to see you all in person. And this is awesome. Thanks for keeping it going. So, and keep going.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for everything, especially being someone on whom we can rely in the legislature. Not just as a friend, but as someone who does things and speaks to us and takes phone calls. You have been, against your will, my proxy senator for many years. And I have to tell you, I think it's probably going to stay that way, given my new one and our relationship. So thank you so much for everything. And we appreciate you and have a very happy set of holidays and happy DVD watching.
Well. Okay. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
So let's not hear all the grievances about Jamie now that he's gone.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that guy's too tall.
I was just going to make a comment about that.
Yeah.
My grievance about Zoom is you never know how tall people are.
Well, yeah.
And then you meet Jamie and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. He's 6'8".
Actually, I do have a real grievance against him. The way he takes selfies is always my bad angle. Is
it his good one though?
Yeah, it is his good one, my bad one.
That's funny.
Gotta let him know that.
He's scheming ahead of the photo each time. How did I get the worst angle?
But specifically, yeah. I have a grievance about Jamie, and it is legitimate, but it's wholesome. And it's that I told him years ago that I wanted to go mini golfing. He's down on the Cape a lot, and he's down like literally down the street from my house. He has close family friends. And I'm like, there's a mini golf course. It also is an ice cream place. Don't lie. You still love ice cream. Like, I want to go because I think it has to be the funniest thing in the world to see a person that tall play mini golf. I don't want a lot, you guys. I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for like anything except I want to go mini golfing, but I'll pay for it.
Your proxy senator?
I just think it would be funny to watch him play mini golf.
Make a fundraiser that involves like Jamie and Mike Connolly playing miniature golf.
No, I already started this. At one point, I was trying to get Chris Dempsey down here at the same time. Yep. But then, and this is a grievance, and Chris, if you're watching, I already told you this in person, so it's fine. You have to leave Boston if you want to run for statewide office. And so, like, he didn't come down here to play mini golf with us and raise money. But, like, I don't feel messy about that because he's already heard me say it. But, yeah, there will be pictures. We'll sell Progressive Mass tote bags that say things like searching for grievances, whatever. That's what we're accused of anyway. We might as well have a total.
Brainstorming grievances. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tracy, go ahead, John.
Oh no, go ahead. I was
just going through the list of grievances, and I was gonna say I believe you had another one about the Board of Ed and some term limits.
Yeah. Okay. Dalina, did you do that on purpose? This isn't about you. So everyone spends all of this time complaining about the fact that we've had Republican governors who have appointed members to the Board of Education, right? And they have their terms don't coincide with the governors. You have to wait for them to turn out. There are, by my count, 3 members of the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education that are termed out that the governor has not done a damn thing about, including the chair. Ooh. And I don't understand it. Like, we can all complain all we like, this is a really, like, this would seem to be an easy fix. And that's the other thing is they keep showing up for meetings. They're working on appointing a commissioner. And I think that 3 of them legally can't be serving. I mean, it's not like I have access to lawyers who can do things on this, but that seems like a problem.
They stay until they get replaced. I'm pretty sure it's in the bylaws that they're allowed to stay until they get replaced.
It's not in the law. The law is actually super clear in terms of 5 years.
Yes, but I think there's some sort of ruling that they're allowed to stay until they get replaced.
Which is basically the whole entire idea of term limiting them. They can just stay on forever.
I would be interested in that.
Why doesn't the person who literally could just replace them, and then then there would be no way they'd stay on?
That would seem to be a question.
And who would that be again?
Charlie Baker's third term.
Yeah. We were gonna get there eventually. Yeah.
No, she did. She literally did tell us that's what she would do, though. I mean, she said that.
She did. She ran a Charlie Baker's third term.
She actually
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that she wasn't the first choice for most of us. So.
You don't say.
I became a Democrat. I was unenrolled. I officially became a Democrat. So I was a delegate for Sonia.
Well, for Sonia, yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm on my ward committee, so I have to stay a Democrat. But
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's a real testament. It's a real sad state of affairs because I was at her first fundraiser for her first event when she first ran for office, and it's sad how much she has moved to the right, firing her progressive staff, hiring more conservative staff members, hiring conservative political people, endorsing people who were literally so problematic before they endorsed them. She endorsed them and then having to pull it back afterwards, but because they were ideologically the most far to the right in every race, right? All of those decisions were not preordained. They are choices that she has made to move far to the right of where she was first ran for office. So I think it's depressing for a lot of us.
Yeah. It doesn't feel necessary.
I will make a particularly timely grievance with this is the terrible shit, the evisceration of the right to shelter law that's ongoing, as will appear in people's inboxes on an email that I have scheduled coming up on Monday about how about Moore Healy basically telling
nothing.
Moore Healy is telling families there's no room left in the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right. That's a good one.
Well done.
If you've been in shelter for 6 months, magically Massachusetts has built enough housing and passed strong enough tenant protections so that you're great at leaving that shelter in 6 months and finding an affordable unit that you can move into immediately,
or getting a job, which you
exactly.
Which also I just want to say grievance that Massachusetts has not just done an FU to the federal government about whether or not these people can work. We already break the law around pot. It's against the law. We have legalized marijuana across the state. We should just legalize immigrants who are here being able to work and live and just give them IDs and tell that federal government to F off.
Yeah.
The same way we're doing with marijuana.
But the legislature didn't do that.
What?
The legislature didn't do that.
I know, but somebody should.
They could. They did it with marriage equality. They could do it with this. They did it with marriage equality. They did it with other things. They could do it with
Jordan, if they're going to like double down on that, is that like they've had such a bad run of the equity program for cannabis? Just give it to all of them. Like allow migrants to start pot shops. You're already violating federal law. Just do it twice and actually start having some social equity elements to the rollout for once.
I mean, my neighbors are already like refugees, so they're already people who sort of make up a lot of the folks. But I'll just say, like, again, like, imagine you leave like the like your comfort, everything you know, your home for a better place. Like, move next to me. Fucking move next to me. Like, great. You sound like an amazing human being. I would love to have you in work. Think of all the ways you're a brave, incredible human being.
Yeah.
Like, let them work. Let them have housing. Like, just like let people just be. Like, why are we following any of these rules? They're dumb rules.
I will add one of my big experiences from the year has been the general Democratic approach to immigration as an issue, which has largely been to embrace Republican talking points on immigration, such that you're like basically ceding the entire discursive and policy landscape to them, rather than making an affirmative case for like why welcoming people into the country is a good thing. And even just acknowledging that even so, like to the extent that there's a disorder that people are problems with, you need to be able to fund the system of dealing with new arrivals at a better level, so that you don't have a system filled with backlogs, rather than saying let's build a wall and call it not a wall.
There's no broken system. People are coming. They're saying who they are. Let them come in. What's the problem? Yeah. They used to be there, and now they're here. Oh, so what? Like, yeah, I'm tired of it. Like, why do we have to pretend there's a real problem? There's no problem. Like, there's no problem. People want to come here, and they should come here. Great. Did you used to live there? Now you live here? Fantastic. So what? Yeah, I'm just tired of it pretending like it's a problem. It's just not a problem. Yeah. It's not a crisis. There's no crisis at the border. There's no problem. Oh, are America doing drugs?
It reminds me as well.
Drugs what? Like, who cares?
Is so much of the experience of immigration as an issue for people always ends up being either just racism or purely channeled through media. Because I'm sorry, if you live in North Dakota, if you live in Montana, you aren't experiencing an immigrant. There are no problems coming to you from that. You don't have enough people, and you have so much space. And you aren't having people flooding through Canada into your state. Anything that you believe is just because of media garbage.
Yep. It's just not. I mean, it's nonsense. I mean, but it's not just a feeling. Like, we know this from data that people when they ask them like, "What's your fear about immigrants?" They're like, that someone's gonna steal my home and they're in like Minnesota. You're just like, what? Like, it's just ratcheted up. Mindless fear mongering. It's like it's the oldest ratcheted up fear mongering. I like to joke, like, if only there was this like brown guy who had some thoughts about this in the Middle East like a gazillion years ago and said something about it. Like, it's the oldest form of just like othering, that it's just like everywhere. Like, don't do it. It's easy to say don't and just it's just so dumb that people are just like, oh, I mean, it seems like, but this time it's different. It's like, no, it's always this. It's always the fear of the other. And it's never serious. People are people. Some of them are not awesome, and some of them are. That's true no matter what side of a border you came out of a womb. Like, it's just
Yep. And Jonathan is so right. It's racism, because usually when folks are talking about immigrants, they're not thinking about white immigrants, because if you like Boston, the number one biggest undocumented population in Boston are Irish folks, right?
Yep.
But they're not facing the discrimination. They're not being targeted. You know, when people talking about undocumented immigrants, they're not thinking about the Irish folks.
Yeah. I'm sure at least 3 of you here have heard me tell the story before. I actually lived in Ireland for a while, and it's the same situation there. I lived there for about 5 years, and there was a time I wanted to go downtown. It was pouring rain. The bus wasn't coming. You'd think in Ireland, like, the bus could handle the rain, but so I got a cab, and there was another woman standing with me at the bus stop, and she said, "Are you going to city center? Or do you want to split the cab?" I was like, "Great, let's do it." So I got in the cab, and I don't even know how it happened, but she and the cab driver started talking about immigration, and they were not exactly progressive or enlightened on the subject. And at one point they were like, yeah, you know, one of them said like, yeah, there are immigrants just everywhere in Dublin these days. And I was like, yeah, like in the cab. I'm and they literally said to me, oh, you're not an immigrant, you're an American.
Oh, it's like when you have that, like, people aren't immigrants, they're expats. It's like,
yes.
It's like white people get to be expats.
Yeah. I totally was getting to be an expat. Like it was a very wild experience. And I was like, yeah, I'm not actually from Africa. So because that was the immigration influx they were having at the time. And of course people were being disgusting about it. So yeah.
My like thinking of that in terms of like countries that have a lot of xenophobia and it's always especially enraging is the UK. It's like you spend centuries going around the world and invading other countries. And when any of those people, especially those, but because you invaded them, speak your language now, have the audacity to come to your country. And it's like.
But Portugal is the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Same shit in Portugal right now. They're like, they're killing Cape Verdeans, they're attacking them, but Americans are like all moving to Portugal. The only complaint is that they, you know, the housing costs, that they driving the housing costs, but nothing else. But all the Cape Verdeans, all the other, you know, Portuguese speaking countries in Africa, it's a problem. Damn colonizers.
Damn colonizers indeed.
It was the same thing. It reminds me of when I in 2003 I left America and I was not coming back, and I was looking to maybe go to Australia, and I was looking to see if I could go to actually immigrate to Australia. And if I put on the form that because I have a white parent from Germany, and if I put down that I was white, I had enough points. But the minute I said I was black, I didn't have enough points. Wow. Like it took me down. So it could be American, that was helpful. But like depends on which parent I picked, whether or not I had enough points to actually become an Australian citizen.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's like, I mean, this is 2003. I don't know enough about Australian immigration rules now, but
I'm gonna guess it hasn't gotten better.
I'm gonna guess it hasn't gotten better.
Like honestly, Australia, like go to New Zealand. You don't.
Yeah, New Zealand
Australia.
was harder. They were looking. Australia was worried about population declines in their white population.
Oh, well, so not a great reason either.
Yeah.
Is that why rats was taking over? Remember, like 3 years ago, they had a rat.
Oh God, yes.
Shout out to Australia for maybe the only successful genocide in history of Tasmania.
We're not gonna. Shout out. The UK reminded me of a grievance that is also evil and I guess content warning mention of inappropriate relations with young women. I'm angry at Neil Gaiman. Fuck that guy. How could he? He was like one of my favorites. Obviously, we all have those people, content creators who are not, you know, Jordan, you said it earlier, and I think you mainly meant politicians, but like being a fan of anybody is always fraught with danger. And that does include content creators. We all know of a certain dumb bitch in Scotland who is trying to get kids killed all the time. And Neil, though, like, why did you have to be a creep, sir? Like, why couldn't you just leave us alone? Now we're only getting 90 minutes of a movie of Good Omens as the ending. And also, it's hard I can't listen to any of the audiobooks that you read because it makes me sad. And like, I'm just mad about it. And I needed to say it. And this is a safe space for grievances.
Hear, hear.
So
this in terms of people getting canceled because of like inappropriate behavior, it reminds me of the day like a month ago where it was found out that the person running like the Muppet History Twitter
no, the string of sentences that were generated by that, like things words you never thought you'd see together.
Oh, John, no, it's not Muppet History.
You didn't see that whole scandal?
Did you not know? Oh yeah, it turns out he's a creep.
I'm sorry. We've now just ruined the evening for Zelda.
No, I'm okay. I'm filled with it. I'm fueled by spite. There is a child here now, and I'm gonna do my best not to swear, but I need you to understand in Chelsea that I will be saying the F word again.
I just heard the F word many a time.
Festivus.
I was
Zelda, that
I
was
was
a baby.
just told about Muppet history. Oh God, it's a baby. I still can't tell. I still can't tell, guys. I don't know the difference between a baby and a child.
I think
One is the size of a cat.
Like around 2.
Well, technically though, like babies are actually that's kind of it feels like it was like baby and toddler, not baby and child.
So is it Gloria that has grievances?
Wait, are toddlers not children?
Square rectangle problem. Like one of them is also the other.
I feel like there's like my personal definition is before they can talk, they're babies, and when they're able to walk, they're toddlers.
Because they
So
talk.
like
I'm just gonna say that I think that the obvious way to adjudicate this is what would Sims do, and in The Sims, you need an infant, a baby cradle, and then you need a baby crib, and then no wait, those are the same things. See, I can't even do it. There's a toddler bed.
Parenting is coming from The Sims. This is fantastic.
There's a toddler bed, and then there's a bed. So it's 3 stages of life. Baby, toddler, regular human bed.
I love how this is like, let me turn to my trusted adjudication source.
Sims 4.
People who had children or
never. I don't trust people who had children. What were you all thinking?
Yeah,
I assume that's why Gloria's here. She'd like to take a few things up with all of us about what the heck we've all been up to.
Yeah, why would anybody?
A couple of grievances, boy.
Why would anybody do that?
Just wait till she can talk.
I'm kidding.
She's gonna.
All of your children are wonderful, and I am joking. I can't.
Well,
don't ask me to age them.
No,
I keep telling my friends that I keep telling my friends that in my next lifetime I'm not having no damn kids. I don't know how I did this thing 3 times. Like I wouldn't trust me neither. Like that's crazy.
Just in the last week, my 12-year-old has looked at me and said to me very seriously, your parents' generation and your generation really wrecked this. Like,
I mean, Krista though.
Why are you dragging us into it?
I'm agreeing with him. He's not wrong. But it was a lot. And then my 15-year-old today came in while I was listening to the Indigo Girls and was like,
no, he didn't.
He did. He didn't say anything about the Indigo Girls. He knows better. But he came in and he's like, all this music you listen to, like, are you sure you're straight? I am 47 years old. He's like, yeah, but like it's Gen X, man. And I was like, you mean compulsory heterosexuality? Are you trying to say that? He's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My son asked me the same thing.
They run you for filth.
He was like, and he went to Fem Bar. He was like, are you sure you're straight? Like he keeps asking me over and over again.
Like, I'm married to your dad, my dude. Like,
yeah, no indigo loving woman has ever married a man.
Right? I've heard that one before.
So yeah, children not worth the paper they're printed on.
They will run you for filth. That's as said earlier by Ella.
Well, I had a grievance about a child already today. But like, she took me out hard, man. Yeah, no, my friend's kid. No, go ahead, Jordan.
She'll come for
my
you.
My
that
friend's
was it.
kid,
She'll come for you.
she did. My friend has, and she actually did submit a grievance. She's a judge, and I'll do this, and then I'll tell you what her child did to me. But like, she's a judge, and she was like, my grievance is that there's no training for judges, and I was horrified by this. John, thank you for thank you for receiving the voice to text memo.
Well, actually, in terms of that, like the problematic of voice to text, a grievance I have is autocorrect, and how autocorrect is almost without fail wrong, and like in really creative ways.
Yeah, that message, the first one that I sent was really good. Like, you could tell it was me, but then that one came through, and I didn't understand what it said either about the judges. But judges don't receive training. Obviously, you don't apply if you don't kind of get the idea, but like, she made it through. She actually had to be interviewed by Marilyn and made it through that. She's an amazing person, and the courts are better because she's there. But she was like, by the time you get there, like, they just basically tell you to hit the bench and go for it. And none of the other judges want to help you because they're busy and they don't have time, and they're like, you should know already, but like, who is supposed to teach you? And that is a frightening thing for me to think about, that like judges are out there, like Roberto said, just not being trained. Lots of places.
A question that I have though is it better to get no training or is it better to get bad training? Because we have state reps going to UMass Boston to get training to get training, telling them to go talk to leadership when something comes up, and it's like,
no, fair point, but fair point. But you can unelect a state rep.
Fair.
A judge.
I mean, we should try that.
But can you in practice?
We should try it. Yeah.
Massachusetts should definitely try more.
I mean, we also don't train. There's a bunch of positions we don't train. There's no requirement for training for our sheriffs. There's no requirement for training for our for people who administer our elections, which is one of my other favorite ones. Is I regularly, as somebody who would do elections in 351 towns, you'd go to a town and they'd be like, "We've always done it this way," and I was like, "You've always done it illegally." Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I need to find this. I have a really niche election administration grievance about a specific town. I think I know that I need to talk amongst yourselves. I will find out what the town is looking at.
I was going to point out that municipal elected officials don't have any requirement to be trained.
Except my contribution to the list: parents. No required training for parents.
They send you. They give you the kid, and they just.
Okay,
they do just give you the kid.
So my grievance,
it's the same in The Sims.
Is the town of New Marlborough?
Okay, Marlborough.
Oh yeah, New Marlborough, not Marlborough.
No, I apologize. I did not mean to disrespect Marlborough.
Certified, obviously false election results.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
That I was looking at election data and saying like, oh, I'm curious, how did Harris and Warren compare? Like, what were their votes compared to each other across the state? So you can see, like, unsurprisingly, in a place like Wellesley with a bunch of rich people, Harris outperforms Warren and Warren outperforms Harris in some of like the gateway cities. But I was shocked when I saw New Marlborough have like this shockingly high gap between them. And so I looked at the election results, and New Marlborough lists in its certified election results that 489 out of 1,002 votes cast in the Senate race were blank, which, if you actually look at their unofficial results, is untrue. So they have like multiple arithmetic errors in their like semi-accurate election results that they then somehow transmute into a 50% blank rate. And is certified and on the secretary's website.
I love that you.
Are we sure this is a real place? I've never heard.
That was a JP question.
It was.
High five, Tracy.
Yeah, no, I'm owned. Like, that's fair.
That was about 1,500.
That was a very Zelda thing.
About the flag. Like, no one knows their towns and no one knows our flags. Our flag. Yeah. We could get rid of New Marlborough and no one would notice.
No one.
We could say we got stuck in the Quabbin and no one would be like, that seems right.
The Quabbin. Oh my God, remember the Quabbin?
Remember Joe Kennedy?
I try not to, but yeah, like.
Oh, that was very good.
That was so funny. Oh my God. And tell your father. Remember what a sweet, precious time that was in history during a quarantine?
Amazing.
Also, here's what I think about.
I never had to see people.
Towns or the grievance is we have Norfolk, which would be like northern people, which is like south of Suffolk, south people, you have Essex, but why is there no West? Why is there no county in
Wessex.
Massachusetts indicating that
Wessex?
it's located to the west?
That would probably be us, I think.
Yeah, like
we just
Wessex County.
Mister just took over.
yeah. It could
Do
be
you
like
really want to? Do you really want to talk about that when we have Upper Cape and like lower, like?
Yeah, that whole mess.
I
there.
mean,
Doesn't
this
make
whole
any sense.
situation.
Yeah, it's like,
It's just, it's a mess. People are like, "Oh, you live in the Upper Cape, you must be up in the fist," and I'm like, "No,
That's
I'm the
other way.
armpit. I'm the
you
armpit."
know, we had a lot of people being like, "Oh, you're on the Cape. Are you like you must be really close to town that's actually on the entire opposite side?"
Or yeah, like one time, oh my god, grievance. One time, I forget what ballot it was. Like it was a couple years ago, but like what ballot question called me and they were like, "Can you leave Falmouth?" It was a Friday in the summer. So if you've ever heard of Cape Cod, I feel like you know where this is going. Can you leave Falmouth and go to P-Town? For those of you who don't know, and like pick up some signature papers. Now this is at like 2:30 in the afternoon. Their town clerk closes at like 4. And they want me to leave Falmouth, which is the hardest place in the universe to get to. You could be in London, UK, and get to Boston in probably 6 hours if you had to via some kind of space flight. But like, you could not get to Falmouth that quickly. It is the hardest place to go. Jordan, you know it is. It's just a pain in the ass. And like, they want me to go from this secret pocket dimension I live in over to that one.
It's
Cross
like
an
you're trying
elbow.
to Cape.
No, it's worse. You could just get lost there. Here, you just take a while to leave, and that's worse. It's like there's no Irish goodbying in Falmouth because you just don't leave, and
Yeah.
like you
It's
just
like the
are
Hotel
here
California.
forever. Except, yeah, the Hotel Cape Cod. It's everybody's old. It's still dry air because everyone has their air conditioning on for some reason, and it's like it's December, June. But like, anyway. He wanted me to get there and pick up a few pieces of paper and get them to Boston that day. And I was like, who the hell do you think you are? And where are you? I might not be able to tell a toddler from a baby, but like, I know time travel doesn't exist yet. Like, who are you? What are you doing? I can't do that.
That should go in a tote bag too.
Yes. Who the hell do you think you are? I might not be able to tell it to you, the whole thing.
Maybe, but yeah.
The Festivus edition.
Like a big tote.
Yeah. One of those like IKEA bag sized jobs.
Yeah, like those are great bags.
They're the best. I use them as laundry bags. I have like 5.
Me too.
Oh, I love those bags. I have I miss like grievance. I'm ashamed, I guess, to admit it, but I miss the Christmas tree shop.
Oh, sure.
I miss going. Going. We had a really nice one in Falmouth.
Wait, I guess you just need to start a Christmas tree shop.
Ugh, I hate Christmas, but like
the one danger of starting a Christmas tree shop is like, it is the fear of that you would somehow end up in a rom-com by virtue of starting your Christmas tree shop.
Oh my God, I found out today that my friend, yesterday, my friend's dad it sounds like the local man in a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like, her dad has had the same house for like his whole life on the Cape. And then a lady moved here and was kind of a B word and was his neighbor. And then like they slowly fell in love. And now they're like a happy couple who live next door to each other in, wait for it, houses that are red and green.
No.
Yes, I'm dog sitting for her on the same street tomorrow. I will take a picture and like
sell that to Hallmark.
I'm saying, and she's obsessed with Christmas now.
Is it like a very, is it like a Cape Cod Christmas? Like, are there seashells involved, or like how?
I have to assume they live right on the water. What?
How about a lighthouse with tinsel on it as part of the?
They don't have a lighthouse, and it's Bourne. So
okay,
yeah.
We don't. The people watching this movie or miniseries will not know there are not lighthouses in Bourne.
Just put a lighthouse in it.
Well, so they did make a movie called A Cape Cod Christmas, and it was filmed in Falmouth 2-3 years ago.
That's on my list. I keep meaning to watch that, and I haven't yet.
I recently pirated it, and I would be glad to watch it with you.
That sounds amazing.
But like, yep, that's the only way to watch it. Otherwise, you have to get like that stupid, like, what is it? Like the app that Kevin Can Fuck Himself was on. I forget. Was that FX?
Oh,
yeah. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants
that. By the way,
that.
Zelda, I would like to point out that you have warned us a million times that you're going to say fuck a lot, but you went with B word, and I love that.
Well, I respect women. No, I don't. I don't respect. No,
I don't think
say
that's
B
true,
word.
but I'm gonna let it lie.
I know it's not. It's not. I don't respect myself. No. But like, no, they made it. And the worst part of that movie, the biggest defense in it, is that it starts off with the Cape Codders being like, "We can't wait for the summer people to get back."
That never happened.
No.
I'm currently
the people
called 10 Things That Never Happened, and I think we need to incorporate
11. And it the people who starred in the film, the couple, were the grand marshals of the Falmouth Christmas parade like 3 years ago. It was so embarrassing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it's a stupid movie. It's fantastic. I love it. I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
They're not meant to be good. Like, people are missing the point if they're upset about that.
No, like a grievance I have is that everybody told me Hot Frosty was going to be perfect because like all the people who do take them seriously hated it. And I was like, it has Ted from Schitt's Creek in it. What could go wrong?
Gotta be
and
great,
Lacey
right?
Chabert, come on, it'll be hilarious. And then it was unhinged, but it wasn't as unhinged as I thought it would be.
Oh, the Lindsay Lohan one was like the Lindsay Lohan one was decent.
Which of the three do you mean?
I was gonna say,
the recent one, and what I appreciate most about it. So
I think we should call it a trilogy, but yes,
like reverse grievance again. So shout out to how committed that movie was to not giving a damn about what that guy's like proposal actually was. Like the dismissive way that there was like the business proposal that was like labeled business proposal or whatever. And then never at any point did they even try to like fill in a little bit of content for that because they know nobody cares.
They're paying that writer's room by the hour and they don't need to flush that out.
Yeah, they're not paying them. That's just like wine moms outside of a yoga studio while they wait for their kids to get out of gymnastics. And they're like, oh, what I want is for like a nice man to tell me that I'm being and I should love Christmas. Like that's what it is.
Like the voice though, that's the I was taken right there.
Oh! Yeah, it's like you're there.
Exactly.
John's like, oh, I can smell the desperation
I can
and
smell the rosé.
And the rosé. Yeah. Ugh.
That reminds me though, I've noted this as something I've noted before. This is again, it's not a grievance, more of a shout out. Is one of my favorite quotes is from Charlotte Church. Shout out to Charlotte Church. Do we all remember who she was?
I cannot wait to hear what this quote is.
There's that back in like 2015 when Charlotte Church was attending like anti-austerity protests in the UK, one like conservative tabloid was calling her a champagne socialist, and her response was, "I'm more of a Prosecco girl, frankly."
My bestie.
It's great.
It is great. That should be on a tote bag as well. This is what we do.
No, actually,
we come out
like I'm not a champagne socialist. I prefer Prosecco. Would actually be a good.
We would make money. Bag. We would raise money on that bag. Honestly,
relevant content for 2024. Right? Charlotte Church shout-outs.
I am really like upset about finding out about the Muppet history. John, I have sent you Muppet history posts. Why didn't you tell me?
I feel like grievance. I found out about 2 things I didn't know about that are really deeply sad.
Oh, I didn't out Neil Gaiman to you, did I? I mean, he deserves.
Oh no, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm in a whole PhD stuff, and then I'm just like Googling it, and we're here, and I'm just like, oh, that's sad.
It's not good.
I'm so sorry.
The Neil.
I also learned about Neil Gaiman from Zelda.
Marissa's talking in the chat about the Kristen Stewart movie that came out, like, was it 1 or 2 years ago? That movie made me so angry because she made the wrong choices all the way through it. And I just kept yelling at the screen, like,
it was Hulu.
Love you. She's not for you. Why aren't you dating Aubrey Plaza?
I honestly think
Hulu one,
Aubrey
yes.
Plaza is probably just the default right answer in any movie. So
fair.
Agreed. Yeah, did you guys, what was the movie she was just in where she plays the older version of herself?
Oh, is that good? That looked good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But like girls have, and I mean everybody here is a girl tonight for this.
Purposes of this comment.
Have your I don't believe in buying boxes of tissue because like you already have toilet paper in your house. So like have your roll of toilet paper ready. Because like I'm not a crier, but that movie I was like, and it's really funny too though. But there are parts of it that will like pull your heart out and shove it into your eyeball socket. And then you'll throw it up. Like it's that kind of like, oh, you can't do that to me. I was just laughing. That kind of movie. It's good. And Aubrey Plaza is the kind of person who can pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
all right. Good night, Marissa. No spoilers.
I have to duck out too. This has been fun.
Bye.
Thank you,
please tell Henry I love him.
He said toilet paper, and it took me back to 2020. I don't understand.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But no, like
I get it. Why people just went crazy over toilet paper?
I went crazy. I'm one of the I joined the toilet paper delivered to your doorstep things, and I've been doing it since then. And now I don't ever think about it anymore.
I thought you were going to say the better one, which is shout out to bidets. And
bidet.
I find now toilet paper to be absolutely disgusting, and I don't know
Jordan,
why, as an American.
Okay,
Jordan was like, "Let me just try to still be an Australian and say bidet, mate."
Oh.
I would leave, but I'm the streamer, so I have to say.
Wait, that feels like a setup for it's like what did the Australians say when they ran out of toilet paper?
Bidet, mate.
Zelda, that would have been a good moment for the George Costanza exit, where you just go, "I'm out."
I am unfortunately a lot like George Costanza.
Where I had like a one of those routine Amazon like subscriptions where like every so often something gets delivered.
We get that too. Yeah.
My address, so I had this thing shipped to my old address, and it hit me. Eventually, I'm like, I'm not carrying like. As I noted, I do not own a car. My old place, it's not far, but it's a little under a mile away, and there is no way that I want to take like a box seat bigger than this screen. I like to go to my old building, get that box, and walk a mile to my new place with it.
What was it?
No, that was the guy. You missed the delivery. It was like basically a giant collection of toilet paper that I'd ordered.
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
no, I heard the delivery. I didn't hear that it was toilet paper.
Apartments.
Do you not have one of those little shopping carts?
No.
He's not ready to be that lady. He's not ready to be that lady.
I don't have there's no elevator in my building, so like a shopping cart the
handle goes down and then you pick it up.
Wait, when you moved, John, didn't you make
my God, show him
of just carrying bags like totes of books?
Yes, but that's different. That's not like a giant box. That's like that was having two bags, like one on either shoulder, and then books in my backpack. And I spent like July 4th listening to the audiobook version of The Great Gatsby and carrying books.
You were really like, let me pick a book for this. And you said The Great Gatsby. Not like, it's too bad. I wanted Anna Karenina, but I didn't have it. I had to go with The Great Gatsby. I just like not going to be as depressed as I wanted, I guess. Ugh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. John, I thought of you the other day, and I'm only saying this because you've already talked about it publicly, but someone mentioned to me, like, bed bugs can't be that bad, right? And I was like, listen to my friend. My friend John had them in his apartment.
Yeah.
Jordan's face.
2020
during COVID.
I think the worst
I think about you by yourself having, because it was quarantine and he couldn't get any help, having to wrap his mattress in like rubbish bags and duct tape and carry it. The elevator was broken. Carry it down the stairs and put it in a dumpster by himself. And we all know John is taller than we think he is, but he's also very little. And I think about it all the time.
Oh my! I did not know that.
Great story.
He was texting me about it that day, and I'm like,
my spring 2020 was
you got months too
dealing with the bedbug infestation that I had thought at first, like February 2020, like early March, I thought I was getting an allergic reaction to something because of like what I later learned were bites. But I was like buying these different like skin creams because I was like, clearly I'm allergic to like the new socks that I bought or something. And then I suddenly realized, no, these are bed bugs.
Yeah.
And then it's like multiple months of like exterminator coming back. Although the thing that was a positive outcome of the bed bug infestation of 2020 is the balloon wall in my old apartment, being my Zoom background, is actually only a result of the bedbug infestation.
I never received my balloon, by the way.
Elaborate.
Someday then. I still have them in that closet, so
I know. I'm kidding.
So
elaborate.
Basically, when you have an exterminator come for something like that, you need to push all of your belongings, all of the furniture and stuff into the center of the room.
Sure.
And after that, I was just like, I don't care to push things back. I don't want to have to like keep doing this every time. And so then this table back in my old apartment, which I used to be facing like the like barren white wall on the other side if I were on a Zoom meeting, was then more toward the center, so that the balloon wall ended up being the background to it, which it would have been what I was facing.
How long did it take you to fall back to sleep after the bed bugs were gone?
I didn't have sleeping problems with it. It was just like an obnoxious thing, particularly like in the period, like at first I tried to use like the sprays and stuff like that. They don't do anything. And I'd be like, I think I remember on one meeting, I was like, if you see me like doing that and like briefly off camera, it's because I'm seeing something crawling on the ground.
Because I have bed bugs.
This is the most horrifying thing. I have most of the time, Jonathan, I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to see everybody. And now I'm like, thank God we do our podcast virtually. This whole thing is making me feel like the state is not large enough for me to be.
It was 4 years ago, almost 5.
It should be 7 or 10.
It should be 7.
I will say that like my two other things, that one, it was also this wild time where in my apartment, because of the I think it was the faucet in the tub having a slight leak and creating a standing pool of water. Wow. There was also a water beetle problem
my goodness.
There was the bed bug infestation in that apartment. Although frankly, but my view of it at the time, although a terrible experience to deal with, is if I had to have a bed bug infestation, having it during COVID when you're just like not going to places.
Oh yeah, shout out to you for that, I guess, on accident.
I also did, as a result, kind of destroy the floor in that place because I started developing a practice of always spraying rubbing alcohol on my shoes. And so like having all the corrosive alcohol hitting the floor.
I mean, listen.
But now he has this beautiful apartment with this gorgeous exposed brick and the view, and they left him like this prettiest stuff. Like,
the funny thing
I'm obsessed with this new apartment, everyone.
In terms of things that I need to eventually get rid of,
it's bed bug. It's a tin of bed bugs. It's not.
I don't drink. I'm just gonna bring over a collection of bed bugs.
Like an ant farm, but it's bed bugs and there's tiny beds.
This call has really degenerated. Like this almost 2 hours in. It's really.
This is what happens at Christmas.
I recently got one of those obnoxious fitness watches, and I can tell you that just the thought of that spiked my heart rate. Oh, I'm not okay.
If
Did they bring
anybody
you
ever runs
alcohol?
one of these, so when I moved to this apartment, I ended up buying all of the dishware and kitchenware from the prior tenant because, like, even though I didn't really even need it, I'm like, sure, I'll take it. I have these superhero shot glasses. You can see.
Fantastic.
Oh, Iron? Is that Iron Man? He
Um,
doesn't know. He doesn't know.
This looks like it has Captain America.
That's Captain
Yes,
America.
Captain America.
Let's see how quickly we can guess. Hulk. He knew that one. Okay.
Green, you know.
That it could be Dr. Oh. Oh, wait.
Sorry, I'm moving this away.
Is it? It's not. Did I see Thor on there?
I thought so.
Not like all the Avengers in a big. Guys, my eyes have gone in the last.
Yeah,
year. I don't fucking know.
I need to eventually make a plan to give these away because I'm both not somebody who watches superhero movies and I don't drink. So
you could have you little tiny shot. You'd be like, hold on, everybody, it's about to get wild. Green tea, like,
lentil shots.
Right?
Oh, you're watching The Princess Bride? I can't get through that sober. Because he also hates that. He hates joy.
Bad movie.
Yeah.
Bad movie.
We're pretending that didn't happen and we're moving on.
That's how we get through it,
That's
Krista.
how we grit our teeth and move.
I am still stuck on your eldest child being like, are you sure you're straight?
Today. I was like, wow. Okay.
You know what you should have said is today is gonna be the day. You should have done that. Would have been hilarious.
That's, I mean, yeah, all right. And and at first I was like, oh, okay, it's a joke. It's an Indigo Girls joke. Fine. But then he was like, you are Gen
He
X,
meant it
like,
though. He wasn't joking.
Heterosexuality. Like, I just hadn't taken the time to think about it, Yeah.
I will take it completely in a new direction with one of my listed out grievances ahead of time. The experience is that whenever you're canvassing and you knock on somebody's door and it's obvious that they're home and nobody comes up, it's like, I can see you.
No, I respect that. I respect that because I can't do it. Like that. There are days when I don't want to answer the door, but like in my head, like I know they're gonna try to sell me a new power plan or what, like it's a scheme. Something's happening there. And I can't not answer the door.
Actually, wait, that reminds me of, I think I've told this to at least Jordan before. One of the funniest experiences to me in canvassing, and I was canvassing in like, I can never remember if it's actually technically like Roxy Homes is the name, like the name of that one development in Lower Roxbury. It's like near Mandela Homes and Roxy Homes, but it's the low-lying, the ones that aren't like multi-level. And I had a police officer come up to me to ask if I was selling those like scam renewable energy things that people have been hitting communities of color with.
And it was relentless.
Yeah.
I had to close the door on somebody's face a few weeks ago. I felt bad. I was like, because like, I'm still Midwestern. I'm like, I can't help it. But I was like, I seriously. And as I'm just like, seriously.
I don't get nobody that comes up my street because I live on a hill and ain't nobody trying to come up this hill.
There you go. You get a workout and it keeps people away.
So I have a Ring camera. And we had somebody ring the doorbell. I was in a work meeting because I work from home, so I didn't answer it, but it recorded him. And so while he's standing there waiting for me to answer the door, he gets a phone call on his cell phone. He answers it, and I can tell from his side of the conversation, it was somebody trying to sell him something. Oh. And at one point, he was like, I mean, I'm kind of busy. I'm working right now. And then there's a pause, and then he said, gee, I mean, after working hours? And I was like, the irony of this guy getting annoyed about getting a sales call while he's at my door trying to sell me something.
The audacity! Forget irony.
In terms of like really important things, I'm pretty sure one time years ago when my mom used to work for like just sold ads for this one magazine, I think she did once try to sell a telemarketer an ad. And like respect.
Respect indeed. Is that Kara? I see you talking, Jordan.
Hi, Kara. He has a parenting kind of look on his face when he's doing that.
Parenting. That's exactly what was happening. It's exactly what was happening.
See, I didn't even. I can't even recognize a child like parenting phase.
Oh, Krista knew exactly that face. She did.
Yeah,
She's like, I know exactly that face.
She was like, Ella heard his music and she's coming in to ask him if he's sure about his life choices. Like, not that it's a choice, but yeah,
right?
like, I realized after I said it.
I mean, wait till your kid finds out that I've been to an Indigo concert as a kid. I went to fantastic concert.
Jordan, what I was talking to Tracy about before John got here was that I accidentally, my dad didn't know what the Crying Game was going to be. And he took me to it. And I was like maybe 9-10 years old when that movie came out. I saw the Crying Game in theaters as a little girl. And people gave him some looks when we left. Oh, it was amazing. The 90s was a precious time. I miss it. I miss it a lot.
This happened to me at the ripe age of 13 with Color of Night, which my father took me to, not knowing what it's about. If you all don't know what it's about, it's okay. You don't need to know. It's a like not so subtle, like soft, like one of those like softcore movies from the like 90s, and it's with Bruce Willis.
Oh,
that was, like,
okay.
maybe the most awkward.
Yes, say no more.
Of my life, and like I ended up leaving, and then like finally my father left, and I think in fairness to my father, I think he was just like, what do we do? Like what
do we do?
No one knew what this movie was going to be. Bruce Willis is in it. He totally froze.
What are we doing?
Make it weird. I'm sort of a little bit old enough that maybe it's not so weird, but it's definitely weird, you know?
That might actually make it worse.
It made it worse. Yeah. Everyone involved. We never talked about it again. We never talked about it. It's just like a thing that happened.
This is the first time that I've actually
that he walked out of, and then we just left and went home and never talked about it.
No debriefing.
Krista, your son reminded me recently. My friend Megan was like, "Can you come and like watch our bunnies and chickens while we're gone for the weekend?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just have to go over and look in on them." But I got dropped off there, and her son, who's now 21, hadn't left yet. He was still there, and he's like the kindest, most amazing person I've ever met. He's incredible, and I was just playing my music as a 90s girly, okay? I'm a white girl. I'm precious from the 90s still. And I was blasting. It was Veruca Salt.
Amazing.
And I was like vibing hard. Celebrate You is on. And I'm like, celebration. But it had been on for a few hours. And at this point, I didn't even know Derek was home. He comes out of his room. So I'm now startled. But he just goes, Zelda, are you okay? And I'm like, why? What do you mean? Like, you startled me. And he's like, no, I've been listening to the tunes, girly. Are you all right? Like, did someone hurt you? And I'm like, no.
Not recently.
I was born in 1983, and this is how we cope with everything. Like, but yeah, it was Veruca Salt, and he was worried about me.
Well,
because it was American Thighs. Like, if it had been Shutterbug, he might have been like, oh, she's having a party. No, it was the tough one. I was like, no, it's just two Canadian chicks like yelling. Don't worry. It's fine.
All good.
Oh, I love that album still, Krista. I would die for that album. But yeah. Anyway, are you okay? No.
Like, I mean, fundamentally, no.
Absolutely not.
Moment.
No, this election happened and I started rewatching Special Victims Unit because even though it's propaganda, at least I get to see a rapist go to jail sometimes. Like, what do you think? You know, like Olivia Benson, we all like exalt her as white ladies, but she's the worst person alive. God.
Yeah, they're all terrible.
What an asshole.
I have a friend. I have a friend who works on that show. She started off as a script continuity supervisor.
That's like white lady royalty, Krista.
Right? I know. And she actually just directed her first episode recently. It's very exciting.
Fuck up.
Like, it's the closest. It's my 2 degrees to Ice Cube. Like, she had
Ice-T. Ooh, Jordan.
I don't even know where that came from. I know better, I swear to God. But she has his fucking phone number.
I love this. Call him Ice Cube. This makes me feel even better.
Can you tell her it's my birthday soon, and can you call Ice-T for us right now?
No,
get her to do it. I feel like call and be like, listen.
She gets to have his number is because she doesn't pull shit like that.
I know.
I just want to say, not only that show had a commercial that was like, you don't have to believe the police, but you have to like trust me, and like it was like as
I know.
like thing. And I like saw this ad, and I just want to say that it's good that we've called Ice Cube, Ice-T, or whatever. Both of them have sold Black people's real pain and suffering to the highest bidder, to Hollywood, and are complete sellouts. Especially Ice-T, who literally plays a fucking cop and got famous for pretending to be in a gang,
a drug dealer,
and did hip hop for a small part of did hip hop to play a fucking cop. Like, is there a worse like sellout?
He Ice Cube. He really drank the Kool-Aid on it too.
In some respects too.
What?
Ice Cube has also like made this.
No, he said that. Yeah.
That like I mean I don't know which one's worse, right? They're both pretty bad.
Oh, Ice-T definitely worse. Ice-T plays a cop. There's no question.
I want to use the moment.
It's literally the propaganda.
For a grievance about propaganda, I do think one thing that is like a deep problem is the way that our media both like celebrates cops as being typically always right and doing the good thing, as well as billionaires as being like models of good success, rather than as something that should be viewed as like only ever achieved for ill-gotten means.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that is definitely plays into like the people who are like, Trump is good on the economy because he's rich.
You mean how we spend however many thousands of dollars on finding this one guy that killed this one CEO, but we don't spend any money on finding any other people who kill people?
I can't believe we're 2 hours in and we're just getting to Luigi, because like, oh my god.
It wasn't.
I feel like it's an unsafe space for all of us who want to stay off FBI lists.
I'm welcome. I'm a white lady. Bring me on it. I'm already on a list. I don't give a shit.
Like,
Luigi's a piece of shit. He was retweeting Elon, but also that CEO got what it was coming to him.
Yeah. I'm a generic middle-aged white lady, and I'm pretty sure I'm on an FBI list. So like, I just think we're all on.
Well, you're on a list of potential lesbians. Yes, I don't know if you know this.
That too.
It's
I've got an asterisk next to my name, but.
It's not an asterisk.
Well, I was like, part of me was like, I wanted to be like, buddy, like, if I could, you know,
all of us women who are attracted to men, all would.
I've been
okay,
married for nearly 25 years. I like the guy. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on, like, if it were a choice,
I like Trevor just fine, but
he's lovely. But
he. Or Trevor.
Sorry, I made it weird.
Hey, no, you didn't. How's your cats, by the way? Are they along?
I would just say the internet made it. The internet's with you. I was like, I just don't want to get into trouble.
No, it's okay. We're all agreeing. We're all like,
No, I've just been watching this. I've just been watching a stream of parody songs and TikToks and the whole like the walk, and they're all putting it next to like various oil paintings of Jesus at Gethsemane.
Did you see the?
Why was Eric Adams on that? Like, were they like, we don't want him to be the only criminal. Let's bring on the indicted mayor for this. Like, what? Why was he there?
Did you see the "Hey There Delilah" song? That one, like "Hey There Luigi." That one is so good.
What's it like in New York City?
Yeah. Why were like Luigi? Why did you go to Altoona?
Right. He did so good at first, and then he just really I think he hadn't planned long range enough. But anyway.
John, was it you or wait, I think I sent it to you. I thought you sent it to me, but now it might have been reversed. The picture that was like, it was that damn smile, the meme from 13 Reasons Why, where it just shows the picture of him like
no, the one
that
thing
damn
that was
smile.
Do you know? Have you ever seen like the photo of like what Altoona pizza looks like?
Yes, that Italian stuff. That was all top tier content.
There's been one like comedian who was like just like more and more crimes against Italians coming.
All they do is fucking Italians.
Like a craft single on there, right? It's bad news.
I sent that to Matt Patrick, who is an Italian person whose name is Matt Patrick. So, and he looks Irish, by the way. Matt Jordan, you know that man looks so Irish, it actually hurts me. But I'm Italian, Matt, and I sent him like a meme about it that was like all they do is like screw up Italians, and he didn't get it. He just thought it was about the pizza. And he was like, I don't know why they did that to pizza. It's terrible what they've done. And I'm like, Matt, I know you're a boomer, but like you're not one of those boomers. Like you have a MacBook. What?
Well, and it was how fast
John.
we all immediately moved right past, the actual dead guy to talk
I don't give a shit about that person.
Of everybody was just like, even Elizabeth Warren, who I think like is, everybody has to be careful with their language when they're a public official, but was like, you can only push people so far. And it's like,
I love her.
I don't. And like, how are they continually fucking up the optics on this? Why did they do that ludicrous fucking perp walk that made him look like some sort of superhero? Did they think that was gonna like tame the image?
I think it's because they all have United Health. That's my conspiracy theory.
I can't wait for the Special Victims Unit episode where Ice-T is like, whatever, man. And I'm really sorry for this impersonation, but I have to do it. I'm really sorry. But he's like, I don't know about killing a healthcare CEO. Where he's like that. He's going to do it. He's going to be like, you can't just kill healthcare CEOs and look at the camera like, right?
I mean, it kind of turns out that you can, as it seems. So,
Well, if you can kill thousands of people, like, by just being a piece of shit, I don't know. Like, oops. Sometimes you get murdered, I guess.
You can kill a healthcare CEO by denying their claim. Not with, like, a gun.
One thing that I did appreciate as a nice joke after it, when people were like, a request for thoughts and prayers denied.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere.
There were some good memes, some good
there
content
still
here.
Are. I swear to God, every time I get on TikTok, there's something new and amazing that somebody has come up with. I'm gonna miss TikTok when they close it down. I'm not gonna lie.
It's such bullshit. Like, it's not right.
I'm not the target demographic, but they really got me.
You are the target demographic.
But yeah, thank you, Jordan. I was about to say, yes, you are.
It's actually women about your my age. 30 is my age. 35. I'm the upper limit of it. Yeah, I'm the upper limit of it. But it's white women on that age group. I don't know. I feel like TikTok stole. It's a Chinese front group that stole somebody else's technology. Like, it's a really shitty algorithm. Like, I've spent a lot of time on TikTok. And like, I don't know, somebody else makes something better. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the problem is the government choosing like one foreign entity to like that's stealing our information, and not the like broader thing that we should have protections. But like, it's weird to me to watch leftists like front for an evil corporation that's definitely a Chinese front group that has such a terrible algorithm. Like, it's also just a shitty app. Like, it's a shitty algorithm. It has like no real content moderation, no real ability to make content, and its technology isn't completely stolen from another company that it's shut down illegally. Like, I don't know, I just sort of like replace it with something better. Like, I just like hard to get pressed about like TikTok as a corporation losing its thing. Like, the bigger problem is that like we don't have protections for our data.
Twitter is a bigger problem.
Oh yeah. So what
bigger is the worst?
One thing on my grievance list is this is obviously low down on the list of reasons to have been upset about the election results. But one of them is the fact that someday there will be a falling out between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Oh, soon.
Oh, we're going to get fucked in that.
I wanted to read about that right after the election, to read them sniping at each other through various other people, and some like grand, like dramatic explosion of the new friendship. And we'll have to wait. It might not be long, but the fact that we had to wait is time that we didn't have to savor that.
I think it's going to be big when it happens. I think it'll be like explosive.
Shout out to everybody making it happen quicker.
Right?
By calling him the co-president. Like, love the energy we have all put into doing the most obvious thing ever, which is to play on the very simple things that Trump hates. And like all of us buying into that very quickly, like, shout out to everyone, basically, like buying into fast charging that blow up.
Didn't Stephen King get kicked off of Twitter finally because he called Elon like Elonium Trump, like the first lady or something.
I think
he was like the first one to do it.
Like I think he's still there, but I did hear that one too, but I think he's still there.
Okay.
I feel like you really don't need to go into misogyny and transphobia.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
When
I just thought it was that, right?
There and so much more effective. Like
I will always choose making fun of men without harming women.
It's just like so. It's like so much better, and it's just hanging out there.
Yeah,
it's like a just clear like F you.
Like one meme I saw, which was like Elon Musk having a leash on Donald Trump as his dog. Like,
yeah, oh yeah. Or like there's a comic that I guess maybe was in the Washington Post of like of Elon getting sworn in with Donald Trump as a puppet. Like, oh yeah, just continue this. Like that's really the way to go.
Side note. Like Donald Trump is weirdly obsessed with dogs, but I'm curious as he's always like, like a dog. He's got the like a dog.
He doesn't.
Has he actually ever met one? Do we think? Like, do you think maybe he's just like never actually been within 20 feet of a dog?
Like children, yes.
And also, if he has an animosity toward dogs, that also just reiterates my belief about him and Elon Musk feeling like the villains in a 1990s children's movie. Yeah. Who would hate dogs?
And we need dogs.
They would hate dogs. Like I said, John, I would settle for the golden retrievers.
Yeah.
To save us. Like, have you seen Air Bud? Those dogs could be very talented.
It reminds me of one of the best barometers I feel like of a politician is, do you think that this person would try to sell the Muppet Theater?
Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic one. Also, I just want to say shout out to Zelda. 2 hours and 10 minutes in with a fantastic Air Bud quote. Like, just like, that really smacked.
I will always be here with an Air Bud quote.
Oh man,
Air Buddies. Buddies go to space. Come on.
That was so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky buddies. Snow buddies. I've seen all of them. You think that Disney Plus doesn't get used? It's paid for value. You're wrong.
Only thing Zelda has to do in Falmouth.
Waiting for the summer people to come back.
I'm gonna share the password for the email account now.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I think like I really wish we did. Democrats don't know how to win elections. It's like
no, we hate it.
Universally
We're allergic to winning.
But it is funny that what a great ad that would have been of like, don't pick the guy that would have been the bad guy in
right?
The Muppet movie. Like that's such a great hit on Donald Trump.
John,
I mean that doesn't matter. People aren't voting for a black lady. Sorry, Delita.
Right. No, for real. Yeah. Sorry, Delita.
I don't know if you've been to America, Delita, but it turns out
Delita, I'm not sure you've heard about it, but we're all getting hard truths tonight. Some of us found out about babies and toddlers. Some of us found out about Neil Gaiman. Delita's finding out.
Zelda, in fairness, the other was some again.
I'm coming to America now.
Failed to find out.
It's a second time for it, third, maybe it's been thrice. But John, I think the first time you messaged me about the Muppet Theater thing, I was like, let's make a list. And we started a list. And we knew that like Elizabeth would not sell the Muppet Theater.
No.
Sherrod Brown, would not have sold the Muppet. I'm angry, Jordan. Would not have sold the Muppet Theater. We were coming. There were Democrats. Chris Murphy would sell the Muppet Theater.
Sure.
That bitch is selling it for low money.
Absolutely.
Maura Healey is like, who let this Muppet Theater exist? She's actually suing people for allowing the Muppet Theater to exist. It's illegal to be a Muppet in Maura Healey's Massachusetts.
People who are sleeping inside because they don't have home.
And God forbid you take a nap in that theater. Get out of here. I can't remember his name. I have too much cold medicine in my body. Mucinex, everybody. Sherrod, grievance. Ohio. I left you and you like just really shit the bed, guys. What the hell? What the hell? The heartland.
I have such a wonderful Sherrod Brown story, and like I just want to say that because we spend a lot of time shitting on politicians, although I would say not enough time because they're incredibly
Agreed.
shitty. But like Sherrod Brown, my favorite Sherrod Brown story is I did an event. So he went to American University, and I was doing some organizing there when I was still I just left, and he came in and I was like, oh my God, you're Sherrod Brown. Like, who knows Congress people? I was like, oh, Sherrod Brown, like, star to me, Sherrod Brown congressman. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. I'm just Sherrod in the back. And he was just like, he was talking, it was about media consolidation. And he was like, I'm just here to learn. Like, what politician just shows up and is just like, I just want to be like, where he sat on the floor with other people and just like was in like a small group and like he was just like, I just want to be here to like learn and not be like a congressman. And like, you just don't, they just don't make him like that. It's just, he's such a wonderful,
he's a genuinely good person.
Yeah. I have so many good Sherrod Brown stories. It's really instead they went for a private equity guy who's gonna rip them off. Congratulations.
Oh, he's gonna destroy them. My favorite Sherrod Brown story is I worked for him on his first Senate campaign in 2006. But then when I was the political director for the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, and that's for those of you not unaware, it's Cleveland, right? And he was coming to this event that we had with like the AFL-CIO there, and I was outside of the pub where it was, and he like walking in, and he was walking out, and he was like, Zelda, and this was like during, and that's how he really talks. It's not put on, but like this was during the healthcare rallies that a lot of them were doing in like 2009. When they were like going out for not single payer, but Obamacare. And he comes out and he's all the like, oh, I just saw a thing. I saw a commercial. It was the weirdest thing. It was a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, and they have a new sandwich, and it goes chicken, cheese, bacon, cheese, chicken. There is no bread. The chicken is the bread. We need health care. And he walked away. That was the entire encounter. He was like, hi, Zelda. Did you hear about this horrifying sandwich? There is no bread. The chicken is the bread. Have a good night. And I'm like,
I mean, I remember that sandwich. Yeah.
I remember the one.
That was how I found out about it.
I forgot who made it. I remember one where it was, instead of just bread, it was a grilled cheese sandwich on the top and another one on the bottom.
That was Friendly's, and it's a burger. I remember that.
Burger, yeah.
That was Friendly's. And many other places, unfortunately.
Zelda, and when he said that, you thought, that man, the Muppet Theater is safe with him.
did. Honestly, I did, because his thought was we need healthcare, because he wasn't thinking they're going to make a lot of money off of idiots who have bad choices in their minds. He said we need healthcare because he was thinking about the people and what they would need. And what people need is the Muppet Theater.
Or he was thinking, this is a wonderful idea, but we need to make sure people don't die from it.
I mean, no, he wasn't. He was genuinely like, what the fuck? Like, he was horrified. You know who would sell them up at theater, and he would have even before he went real weird. Dennis Kucinich would always have sold them up at theater. I used to work for Dennis too. I know Dennis quite well. Dennis went real weird though. Tulsi Gabbard would bomb them up at theater.
And tell us it wasn't happening. It was just our imagination.
And then Waldorf would be like, this is an explosive ending. Like, it would be terrible. Terrible.
This is all relevant because Disney's trying to destroy the Muppet Theater right now.
I know.
Literally.
I know.
They're closing it down.
Yeah, literally killed Jim Henson trying to make something that Disney would be proud of, and they're trying to close it down.
But wherever you find love, it feels like Christmas.
I'm so excited. I'm going to go see that on the Coolidge, at the Coolidge on the big screen on Sunday.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, I watch it every year, but it'll be nice.
I know, yeah, but it's different.
I'm going to disappear and reappear on my phone. So.
Ooh. Do you need to go take a walk?
Disappear and go to bed.
His evening phone bank.
Right? No, I'm actually headed.
He's like, I'm calling Alaska.
And I'm wearing my wonderful holiday attire.
Oh, John! Look, John! I also wore holiday attire. Yay! Hold on, my hair's
The
in the way.
closest thing I did put on my, I don't know if you guys can see them. These are my Buddy the Elf earrings. That little screaming Buddy the Elf faces.
They're so cute. This is a pajama onesie with feet.
Nice.
Nice.
Classy.
I also wore holiday attire. It's black people's mugshots.
Oh my god. No, but
Jordan,
Jordan, that's amazing though. Oh my god. Like I love that, but also I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean?
Like it's a real like, oh.
Like I love that they made it so that you could never mind. I don't love it. I thought they put it in an ugly sweater pattern so that you could have that as like a get fucked.
That would be amazing.
Like needle people with it at Christmas parties.
I thought it was like a get fucked white people Christmas shirt.
But I think that's $1 million idea. That's the next idea.
You should do it. I think you should do it. Like as many of you know, I do like I stream on Twitch, mostly cozy games. Like I'm an Animal Crossing girly, obviously, but like a friend of mine on Twitch is a Black woman, and this co-working streams where so like during the day you can there's a bot that helps you with a task list and you can just kind of stay focused. But she sometimes streams like true crime or something like that or whatever, documentaries. And I had it on the other day and there was this one and it had a white woman who just did the dumbest white woman shit that just is so like you're like, God damn it. And at the end of it, and I'm like the only white woman in the stream in the chat, and she goes, Zelda, not to come at your people, but also, and I was like, no, I think you should come at I think you should, like, it's okay, we deserve that, like, because it was like this woman just would not believe that her husband was a rapist murderer of many times. And she was like, I don't know, Zelda, you guys got to fix your people. And I'm like, I think it's pretty clear that we're not going to. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think that, I would offer you an apology, but I don't think you should accept it. It's not going to get better soon.
Like, also,
and that doesn't mean I'm not going to try, but like, Jordan, it is like, you should, I'll do the art, but like you should feel free to take it. And like I think it's a great Christmas sweater. Merry Christmas.
Although I guess like Festivus complaint, like one of the things that always drives me crazy is when people are like when people are like, go get your white people. And I was like, I just wanted you to know that the white people who are following black people on social media don't know the white people who voted for Trump. Like, I don't know if you think like white people just pulled together, but like the white people, like overwhelmingly white people who voted for Trump. I mean, listen, I'm related to plenty of white women who voted for Trump and white people, but like most of them congregate in the South, go to church. Like there are actual statistics about who these people are, and they're not like, for all the problems we have in Massachusetts, they're not congregating in the Northeast. Like, it's just like overwhelmingly, we're not in community.
It is.
Jonathan, did you go for a walk just for the optics of it? Like, is
literally,
I literally
just trying to get attention.
No, I literally
Karen just said, who are you door knocking right now?
I'm actually going to a friend's party.
Wow, at this time? You can tell you don't have no kids.
Fucking young people, man.
What's it?
I'm trying to go to bed.
I'm late right now.
I'm this close to signing off. My 12-year-old has a friend staying over and I'd be like, keep it down, fellas. Like, Mama's got
I'm talking to a bunch of weirdos from across the Commonwealth.
Experience me both walking and riding the T.
Oh my God.
Oh, I will at least stay here for that, even if we go offline, John. I love that. Also, I never trust that you're safe after that time you were attacked. Hi, Chaos. You're still here. Welcome for still being here.
John should live grievance his trip.
Live grievance. But you have to do it. John, wait. You have to do it like curse us with Lin-Manuel Miranda style.
What?
You have to be like, grievance that I have is. Oh, he just left.
He's like, can't.
Hi, Bowie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bowie for still being here. He is about 35 feet from me that way with our cat Phil. Krista, you know Bowie, yeah.
I do.
Krista
Okay,
has
I'm going
visited
to
me on
bed.
the Cape. Most of you
This
have
was
not.
fun.
Thalida, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all you do for the organization and the values.
Okay,
No, I
thank
mean
you.
it. Like the values are hard to keep alive in these times,
right?
and you are having.
yeah.
Oh, bless. And you have children, so like it
Three
can't.
of them, and they
Full
become
grown children, not just babies.
I said children.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Delita.
Night.
Yeah, my
Thank you,
kids are going to
kid.
be awake in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Well-
How old are your kids, Dan? They're pretty little.
I think
6
they're babies.
and about 21 months. One of them
Oh.
is,
Aww.
in the baby
6?
range. 6 years and 21 months. My 6-year-old calls me bruh, not bro, bruh.
Yeah,
Trust
bruh,
me.
bruh.
The 15-year-old do that
God,
too.
it's so annoying,
He
bruh.
started saying Ohio recently, and
Yes.
I looked it
Yeah.
up, and I don't think he's using it right.
Oh,
What?
sure not.
Ohio
Nobody
this
knows,
is a
right?
state. Ohio the
No,
state.
it's also it's a Gen Alpha saying that they use
Yeah.
all
It's
the
like,
time.
it's like it's kind of like a stand-in for mid in some
Yeah,
context.
it's mid.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's hate. I mean, it's fair now, but
It's accurate.
like
It's fair. But also,
it didn't used to be.
What?
But like,
yeah.
Karen said at least that was logical.
hi, Kara.
It's yeah. Sorry, I'm now up on all these things because, well, one because of TikTok. Two,
Yeah.
No,
because
I have to.
of my
I have to
daughter
ask
and
our
all the-
Gen Z
Raw
friends.
just feels like I'm constantly in a 1980s like film, and I'm just waiting for a villain to like want to ski me for the like rights to this, like do a ski contest for the rights to this to like my house.
You're-
Like, bruh, we're gonna go ski. Whoever wins gets to keep the house. Like, it's just so
Starring John Cusack.
bruh.
Yeah.
You're just like afraid that Johnny Tsunami is coming for you.
It's so weird,
Like,
bruh, all the
Bruh.
time in this house.
bruh. Oh.
Sometimes they bust out a dog, which I appreciate.
Oh,
Yeah.
lucky
I
you.
haven't had that one directed at me yet. That's still been like amongst.
Well,
Oh,
right
you're
now
not cool.
he's probably much more likely to be like, sister. Are you sure that you love dad?
Yeah, Dan, wait till you get all these. You get all these lovely. I mean, you're far
Okay.
away from all these things. But
I heard a lot
Same
of
with you,
Indigo
Roberta.
Girls last night.
Yeah. He threw Hosier in there too, and I was like, my dude, you too like Hosier. So like
Also,
Oh.
Hosier is not for straight people, kiddo. Have you seen John trying not to like look like a psychopath on the train? Is my favorite new game. Everyone just focus on that now.
Tell the people in this wherever you are, Jonathan, that you're on a Festivus call and see what happens.
Oh my god! Just
actually not
some guy making random announcements on the train always goes
Ask
really
if
well.
they have any grievances. Make
I'm
friends,
not
John.
I'm not extroverted enough to do that.
Ugh.
If Jonathan's not extroverted enough to do that, who amongst us?
He's like, I
It
don't
would be
have-
me.
I don't have their names. I can't mark them down yes or no in favor of anything.
He's like, I don't care. If I can't track their opinion, it doesn't matter.
Data.
Ask them like, no, yeah, show us who's no, don't. That's inappropriate. But like, I'm like, show us who's there. I'll ask them. Bring me up. Bring me up. No, I'll ask them with no problem. That is what I would do. And poor Bowie, who is in the chat, would be like, please don't.
Please stop.
Please don't. That's happened before.
Just pretend that you're asking somebody for the time, and it's actually asking them their grievances.
No, just be like, what are you angry about? I promise. Oh,
Whenever I will say, Zelda, whenever you talk about Bowie, I just think of like historians talking about people's roommates. Like Bowie's your roommate, like a historical roommate.
Yeah.
you never talk about him everything except like he's just hanging out here, just some guy who's hanging
No,
out
because he's too smart to get involved in shit like this. He's like, I'm not
Bowie's
gonna
like
make
your,
my
like-
life. Yeah.
Someday historians are going to be like, Zelda had a roommate for years.
It'll be true. They'll be like, well, I mean, it was as it was at the times.
You just hanging out with the cat, just random, listening to Indigo Girls, just hanging out.
Yeah, and they were roommates. It's thank you, chaos. Yeah, but yeah, there's I think you should walk up to strangers and ask them what they're angry about.
As I walk from the orange line to the red line. I'm just gonna start going up to people. I'm like, this night.
What are you angry about today? I don't think it would sound strange to anyone on any of those lines. If you said, "What are you angry about today?" They'd be like, "Well, our trains catch fire enough that it's literally the #1 Halloween costume."
I still have a sticker on my car that I made.
Do you know how embarrassing it is to have to tell that to other people in the world? And then they don't believe you, and you send them the articles, and they're like, "A woman jumped off of a train into the Mystic."
So it was right after that happened. I bought an Orange Line sticker, and then I bought one that said it was like a little campfire, and it said "It's lit," and so then I cut the wood part out.
DIY
and stuck the two stickers together, and it's on the back of my car. So it's the Orange Line.
Krista, we're white ladies. DIY crafting is our religion.
I get, man, because I'm not generally crafty, but that one hit me that day.
I will share an MBTA grievance that came to mind when we're walking here. Is I just in general oppose all private advertising on public transit, and I think it should not be
agreed
revenue for the T, and we should just pay taxes more. So that I don't see your ads.
What?
Ooh, Krista's not sure.
We're already so behind.
But like ideal world, not as in like immediately lose all the money.
I'm with you. I'm just for a moment there I got lost on practicality.
Yeah, that's fine. We're ideating. We're thinking of our utopian future.
I think we should allow research study recruitment post.
Froze for a minute. I don't know what happened.
That's fun.
Yeah, we're waiting for Roberto and Sarah to come back. I don't know what happened.
I thought that was coming on my end.
I can't imagine that. Could you imagine who's still watching this YouTube feed? Shout out to that.
There's two people, and it's probably Bowie and Chaos. But no, it could be John. I don't know if it is affected by you. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take that as my sign.
I think that's
I've
fair.
been stifling a yawn all night. I should probably go to bed. I spent 7 hours baking cookies today, and I got another 7 to do tomorrow. So
I'm gonna want photos.
You owe somebody money?
No, I just you guys. I have a planning document for the cookies. I had like a stint yesterday, and then I have a stint today. I didn't necessarily get them. I didn't get them all done today, so I have like 2 more to do tomorrow. So
wait, tell us
what kind of cookies?
Oh, so there are 3 kinds that I do every year. Pecan tassies, which are they're kind of like little baby pecan pies, but they're better. I don't like pecan pie, but the ratio is like of goo to
sacrilege.
And then I make these ones that are they're like a weird almond flour kind of chewy texture thing.
Those are so good.
That have there's a cranberry glaze on them. They're so good. And it's like there's so much lemon and everything. It's delightful. And then I make a marbled sugar cookie. That's like the 12-year-old favorite.
I no longer want to hear about the sugar cookies. They all sound delicious.
Yeah. There will be photos of the cookies.
Out stuff every year. Like I do something different. And so this year I'm making a chewy ginger cookie with crystallized ginger in it. And the other, I'm taking it's one of the New York Times cookie recipes from this year. It's arugula with chopped dried cherries and cherry jam.
Party at Krista's.
I feel like you're missing an opportunity for a Progressive Mass fundraiser. Like there's already orders in the chat.
Yeah, literally, there's an order
do all
in the
that,
chat.
and it's 3 days of work, and I have enough cookies for my family and like 2 other families who I give cookies. 3 other families who I give.
I mean, do you like these other families? Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, do you like them?
That's why they get the cookies. I love them.
You had chaos at Cherries.
I mean, I'm really excited.
Where are the photos of the cookies going to be?
In the spirit of Festivus, one would say that the 7 hours of cooking was a feat of strength.
There you go. Yes. Ooh, a cookie.
I'm gonna find.
Oh, you can,
we don't have.
Tara brought me a Jew cookie. That's a.
Ooh.
We don't have an We don't have an aluminium pole, but we do have a LaCroix can because it is important. You have the Festivus pole. This is the millennial Festivus pole, everybody.
We could do a future Christmas cookie competition where we have ranked choice voting to decide the ultimate winner.
I mean,
on board.
Okay, so if you guys are actually interested, there is. Oh, I don't have a YouTube account. I try not to have a YouTube account.
I'm not a baker.
I'm gonna put this in the private chat, and then one of you can put it in the main chat. That is a link to last year's cookie box.
Ooh,
visual photo.
Is this coming to my phone or my?
I just put it in the private chat for the StreamYard.
Oh, I don't even know where that is.
It's right next to comments for me. It's private chat.
I see it now. I just wasn't like copy link. All right, everybody, I'm bringing it in.
But that is, you can see how pretty the cranberry glazed almond cookies are, why I make them every year, because they are like intensely pink.
Oh, there they are. Okay, here you go, guys.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous.
So when I get this year's all boxed up and presented, I'll put them on my Insta too, because that I have that level of vanity.
It's an appropriate level. I mean, you're making beautiful cookies. That's what people like to see, Krista.
I mean, I will point out, I made 6 kinds last year, and this year I'm only down to 5. So
slacking.
I found out on Wednesday. I take a Spanish class on Thursdays, and I found out that we were having a potluck. And so on Wednesday, I had already planned all these cookies out, so I couldn't just take some. I hadn't got them made yet, so I had to make a completely different kind of cookie to take to the Spanish class fundraiser. So that threw me off my game. That's why I'm behind.
I will. If the type of person who actually even ate cookies to begin with, so like assume not in this. Grievance that Krista hasn't made enough to share with everybody on the call.
Maybe next year I'll get my shit together and mail you some ahead of time, right?
Grievance. John is a Muppet fan, but he's rude about cookies.
You're just stringing things together now.
I'm right.
You're not wrong.
Let me make sure that we've covered all grievances submitted. I'll go through a few real quick. Elon Musk has a direct influence on my life. That's fair. Yeah,
that's a bummer.
That's a real blow.
Big grievance for us all at this moment.
Who the hell is? Yeah. A lot about Maura Healey being a crappy governor. I'm just gonna say it that way. Yeah.
I feel like we should list all of them. I want to hear all the grievances about Maura Healey because I feel like she hasn't featured enough in grievances.
Well, I do want to say that they're all pretty much the same one. We do have some about attacking that I was given via email, attacking the college kids this summer, but they did not give.
I have a more related grievance, which is that Sarah needs to not give our child to Mara without asking Mara.
That is fucked up, Sarah.
Yeah.
Letting Maura Healey hold a baby.
Terrible.
Sad state of affairs.
You might as well put a Go Buckeyes shirt on that child.
Fighting words. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that statement. I feel like we don't, like one of the things that I feel like doesn't get said enough is like how much I watch. Like I remember when Maura when she first ran, she would just like talk from her heart.
Progressive, yeah.
One of the things I think people we don't really appreciate enough is that when you go to the evil side, you just watch her like struggle to try to say the worst thing possible and just like not sure quite how to say it because she's clearly it's just like a struggle to be this terrible governor. And I just want to.
She's making faces. Yeah, like looking with her eyes like this, not sure who's to, where she's kind of like, and Like she makes that face.
Yeah, you don't need to do it. You could just be a good governor. We could just
try that.
Like we could just have a good governor. You don't need to do tax cuts for billionaires who are dead.
It is like an effort to be that big a piece of shit. I agree, Jordan. She is making an effort to be worse, and that is wild.
Like you could win an election. She could have won the election by being just like less terrible.
I have a grievance about the estate tax change, not about the change, about the way somebody tried to defend it. I was told that, well, you know, this was before they brought it back down to 2 million. The one was going to be 3 million. They're like, well, you know, if you're in like a family that's got, you know, like a lot of siblings, and there's like 8 or 9 of you, you know, you're splitting that up, and then there's the cost of the estate. It can get small really fast. And I was like, okay.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time.
The thing is, people think about it as a tax on the people receiving the money, but this is a tax on the person who died.
Exactly.
They literally didn't earn it.
As I like to say, I'm happy to do an interview series with all of the dead people paying the estate tax.
Right.
Can I play the dead people as the person who looks like a ghost?
Right,
I am a
me
ghost.
hanging out with some pale friends who look dead.
Yeah, and I'll be like,
I mean, it's just like that's so well said, Roberto, because it's just so ridiculous, so silly the way people talk about it, like as if, but like, you know, the funny thing is like they revere these old white men, the founding fathers, but you know what they all agreed on? Like they didn't agree on a lot. They all hated a state passing down. Like they all thought it was terrible because they saw as like, who are these people who didn't earn any of this money? Like they all thought it was terrible. Their own ancestors. They were like, our ancestors should get this money. Like they should get taxed. Like all of these things come from the founding fathers who all thought states were terrible and undermined democracy. And meanwhile, they're like, we should totally follow these old laws, but not this thing that they all agreed on across ideological spectrum about the problems with the states. Because it's an absolute, I mean, for many reasons, it's an absolute just attack on who we, on like future generations, to as a gift to people who are literally dead. The people who earned it are dead. So I want to say also, but I think it's not just that she's terrible on the estate tax. She also was willing to sign a climate change bill that undermined her own position and did not actually address climate. She had attacked immigrants and people who are unhoused for no good reason except that she wants to keep her tax cuts for billionaires, dead billionaires. We have as Tracy said, we've underfunded public education. She's literally done nothing to advocate for public education. She hasn't appointed a single person to replace any of Charlie Baker's crappy people on the board of ed, even though she can replace them tomorrow.
That's because the chair is her friend.
Yep, she's appointed not great people to the state, to the you know, like her friends and allies to the to judiciary. Like it's not like she's been good on other things. She's not lighting up the thing to make sure that public education and our transportation systems are working properly. She's like, what if we don't spend all the money that other people did the work to actually make sure that this state has, and let's undermine it with a tax cut to dead billionaires.
I think my biggest grievance of the post-election season, and really well beyond that, is that when Republicans do it, Democratic voters are outraged. And when Democrats do the exact same thing, Democratic voters don't see it, don't hear about it,
they don't go
care.
fuck. Yeah. They don't
like Biden finished the wall. We were outraged that Trump stole that money out of the budget with a fake emergency, and then Biden went ahead and finished spending it. And Democrats just don't care. Democratic voters just don't care.
I mean,
like,
I think
regular people just don't care. They don't care that regular are in cages.
I mean, well, I don't know if I agree with the cages thing, because it's let's not undermine the sort of sheer horror of the Trump administration and the sort of lesser horror. Like it's like a degrees of terrible. But I think the other piece is that when Democrats act like Republicans, they get rewarded by the media by it not getting covered. And when Democrats act like Democrats, they get absolutely eviscerated by the media. And Republicans do anything, the media asks Democrats why they don't agree with Republicans. Like that's the problem is if you watch local news, which I unfortunately watch a lot of because that's what most people get their news programming from, or if you read like the Boston Globe or like Commonwealth Magazine, Democrats only get rewarded for being Republicans. That's the only time they get rewarded. So you would not know if you were a Democratic voter that any of those things happened, but you would know when Democrats do things like want to take on corporations. They get punished immediately in the media. Which, like grievance, our media system is owned by kleptocrats who all suck shit, and we all aren't supposed to pretend because Trump wants to literally kill journalists. But it's the same as the fact that the media is run and edited by people who are just a little bit to the left of Attila Blood.
Has anybody that sport? I'm unmuted now. There we go. Sorry. Has anybody grieved about the fact that sports betting is destroying the lives of people across the Commonwealth and across the country, and how terrible it is that it was literally like the legislature's biggest achievement in a whole legislative session?
Like, the Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know,
like with no protections, no support.
That it was like a top priority for the speaker. It was
a top priority for people I know who are progressives, who are activists. They were like, we got to get this through. And I'm like, why? It's not feeding kids. It's not housing anybody.
And it's
last year because of low revenue. They like cut problem gambling services at one point.
Yep. They cut the protections.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem if yeah. If you just don't think about it, it's not a problem.
It's also like with the expansion of like the lottery into being online, when the lottery is basically just a tax on poor people.
Yep. The lottery is a tax on poor people, and it always will be. And until we get rid of the lottery entirely, there's nothing else to say about it.
It's an insidious tax on hope. Because because poor people have made the rational decision that there's no way to become economically secure except to get lucky. And rather than Democrats providing avenues for people to actually just make ends meet and get by, Democrats are like, here's some pennies. Let's transfer this to rich neighborhoods who don't use the.
It's often not entirely untrue.
It's untrue enough that it should just be ended.
But what I'm saying is right, like
rational. Yeah, they're making a rational decision.
Yeah,
they can't get by.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I am saying is that with just about 14 minutes left, and ending it, let's say goodbye, all of us. We have 15 or so, like I said, I guess 14 minutes. Everybody, I won't popcorn you. I'm gonna go in order like John would. Dan, our lovely board chair, one final grievance and one feat of strength, please.
Oh boy. This feels like an icebreaker to me. It feels like a reverse icebreaker.
It's not an icebreaker. It's an ice coalescer. It's like a solidifier. It makes it stronger as opposed to killing polar bears. See?
It's like an ice cube tray. It's not an icebreaker. You're like putting in the water and you're freezing it.
So
no, I'm saving the polar bears, John.
Jonathan, that was the most Philadelphia thing I've heard in a long time. Water. Oh, I love you.
Water. Oh, he says water. When he read Beauty and the Beast for me for an old podcast I was on, it was amazing because he played the Beast and this voice that John, you have to do it in a minute. But he said every time he said daughter, it was daughter and like wooder. And I was like, stop. It's the Philadelphia fairy tales party of John. But no, okay. I'm just trying to say, like, have a nice way out, Dan.
All right. My final grievance. I feel like I already used it, my good one. I'm gonna say a good one. Grafton has four home rule petitions that are still waiting for the Senate to vote on them. The House only voted on them, 2 of them in September, 2 of them in November. After the official session ended, they voted on them. And now the Senate is, I don't know what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows if it'll get done in how many more days do we have? Like, yeah.
It's not going to happen, Dan. I don't know how to, do you have a feat of strength? Which tonight we're calling like a shout out, a good thing.
All right, let's see. Think.
Do you love your family? Like I.
Let's say.
He's like, no, I can't do that one. So.
my 21-month-old has recently transitioned from saying yes to every single question to actually answering sometimes with a meaningful answer of yes or no. If he understands the question, he'll give it a real answer. If he doesn't, he'll say yes.
So he's a legislator as well, then.
There you go.
Got it.
He came
Roberto
canvassing with me a few times.
Aww, and he said yes, absolutely, every time.
Yeah,
Roberto and Sarah.
He came to my ballot question.
Sarah's sister.
It was vote yes.
Okay. Well, teamwork on Chelsea here. I need a grievance and a feat of strength.
The feat of strength is Mary Catherine lives with us, which is great.
Hi.
Hello.
She looks amazing. I'm all for it.
She's not indoctrinated to our political views yet. But my actual grievance
we'll get you there.
My actual grievance is about when there's no doorbells when you're canvassing, and it's or broken doorbells, or in Chelsea it's just I actually have gotten into the habit of like, you know that it's an apartment. You just push that first door open. You just you jiggle the handle and it's unlocked and you go right up to apartment number 3. Shame.
Have I randomly entered houses thinking that was the case, but it actually wasn't?
No, but that's what my grievance was.
Yes,
one time I was on, I think it was 6th Street, and I just went ahead and I opened the doorknob, and the doorknob was unlocked. And I pushed open the door.
It wasn't a hallway. It was the living room.
And people were there. And I was like, whoa.
It's amazing.
I accidentally broke into a house in Wellfleet like that once. Yeah.
That's my only grievance.
Oh, so many towns in Massachusetts I've done that. So many.
Well, Jordan, this is your opportunity to tell us about one when you give us your grievance farewell, and also
my grievance
I can't hear Jordan. Can anybody else
Jordan, I think you moved your mic.
I was like, if I can't hear Jordan, something is wrong because that man is not
quiet. Did you physically move your microphone? Okay, try again. Oh, he left.
That reminds me of him not being quiet.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Reminds me of the number of times recently that people have noted that they knew I was there, that they knew I was at something because of hearing me laugh incredibly loudly.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My grievance is people who complain about whose only form of engagement is through a protest and not any other form of engagement, like maybe joining Progressive Massachusetts or doing something like contacting somebody in power or organizing their community. Like, if the only thing you do is a tactic that's meant to encourage you to actually take action that's more connected, then that is my grievance. Like, you got to do something else. It can't be, it's a good start. It's a good thing to go to. It's a good place to feel better when you're among nice people, when you feel isolated, but you got to do something else. to make a change in their community. That can't be the beginning and end of activism, is going to a protest. Like that's or that's like the easiest thing to do, and it's not the thing that will make the most change. If you're not bringing lots of people with you or joining people who are bringing lots of people with you, then don't at me. And my feat of strength is the best podcast in Massachusetts about Massachusetts politics, which I get to do with one Jonathan Cohn and Anna. And I say that because somebody else said it, and I've now just about us, and now I've just copied it over and over again because I believe it's true. I have the misfortune of occasionally catching the podcast, which might as well just be, it might as well just be self-congratulatory insider bullshit, or even worse, when the Boston Globe deigned to pretend that it had a local bureau and pretended to do some local coverage, or even worse, when press releases are copied and pasted onto NPR's local station, and they're like, NPR, the only local station that's covering Boston, and by covering Boston, they mean copying and pasting press releases onto air. Unlike any of those shows, I'm really proud of the fact that we actually dive into issues and talk to real people and have an insider view. And if you are interested in occasionally getting some of the things that will eventually end up in my biography about all the things I know about the Massachusetts politics, then you should join in and hear some of the tea I get to spill as well.
Please post a link in the comments if you can, or text it to me and I'll do it. And John, on your walk, thank you for that, Jordan. Your farewell grievance and your farewell feat of strength.
Okay, I'll do a few rapid fire farewell grievances. 1, John Fetterman becoming incredibly annoying. 2, the home rule process in Massachusetts. So it's a kind of a version of Dan's grievance, and the way that the kind of paternalism that exists, where the state legislature doesn't believe that cities and towns should be able to pass their own laws relating to taxation or housing and other things. And then 3rd in my rapid fire grievances are with the rise of video doorbells, you have those doorbell consoles where you have to look up somebody's unit number or name, and then they're clearly recording you and showing that recording to the person's unit. I hate them. They creep me out. And it's weird. It just gives terrible surveillance vibes. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that person necessarily wants to talk to me about whatever campaign I'm volunteering on, and I don't want you showing their photo to me to give it away. So I hate those. In terms of feats of strength, I'll give my self shout out for the 5,000 and some doors that I knocked this fall for kind of question 2. And I'll also say, this isn't my own feat of strength, but I'll give a shout out to whoever is still listening to us as a feat of strength.
Just the 2 guys, I think. Yeah. Shout out to Chaos and Bowie from John. I assume it's them. Thank you, John. I will personally give a shout out to everyone here, and everyone who was here, but especially John, for those 5,000 doors. My farewell grievance is I'm still pretty pissed at the Neil Gaiman one. I'm sorry that I accidentally am the person who hit you with that knowledge. If you didn't know, it blows, guys. It fucking men, present company excluded, I assume, are trash, and that's just the way it is. Sorry. Even
the
Neil.
Worst part is you can't even assume.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, sometimes it's a fucking surprise. Anyway, I mean, grievance wise, and my Massachusetts behavior is housing is incredibly expensive and it's prohibitive, and not only is it now illegal and to be unhoused, it's just impossible to even try to be housed and work here, especially on the Cape. It's a disgusting miscarriage of humanity and justice, obviously, but the governor that we have right now is not interested in fixing it. She's interested in making it worse, and I hate that. But my feat of strength is that I only said the F word probably about 60 times, and I didn't yell at anyone as far as I know today.
Well, I guess you have an hour and 1 minute to correct that.
I agree. Maybe I'll go live, and no. But my feat of strength is that I am blessed to be in the company of incredible friends and people in my life, both here in Massachusetts and across the world, who are doing work to try to still, despite everything that's telling us not to, try really hard to not just make things better for ourselves, but for other people. Because truly what we're all here about is making everybody's lives better, not just our own. And that's what separates us from, you know who I mean. And that includes Democrats. And I'm just grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending whatever amount of time you did. The world is better because you're in it, all of you. And thank you. So please stay here and God help us. We got to work together, right, everybody?
Well said.
I know it sucks. And live your life like you're the
live your life like you're about to save the Muppet Theater from me.
Live your life like Jordan's like bye. No, live your life like you're about two ways to choose. You can pick one. You're about to save the Muppet Theater from Chris Murphy of Connecticut because he's probably a Yankees fan, or live your life like you're like the neighbor of the main character's mom in a Hallmark Christmas movie. You are unassuming and gentle as hell and just enjoy December. But like, you know, it's something that's dumb when you see it. Like, live that way. If it's wrong, say it's wrong and don't participate. Anyway, you hear me, Neil Gaiman? Fuck you, Neil Gaiman. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much.
Good night, friends.
Good night.
Bye. Oops, bye.